Hey guys, it's Steve. Just got home from recording the podcast. Unfortunately, we got to start on just two awful notes. One is we didn't mention Jonathan Pietra in the show, and shame on us. That's my fault because he's hockey royalty, and I'm sure you knew about him. He was a huge Ottawa Senators fan, had a rare condition called EB, and unfortunately he passed away. And there's nothing I could possibly say about him to do him justice, but James Duthie comes very close, so I'll read what TSN's James Duthie said. Jonathan was the most courageous young man I've ever met. He had the toughest life imaginable, and yet always saw the positive in it. Always found hope through endless pain. His disease gave him a purpose, to help educate and to help other kids with EB. We will never forget him. We're going to include a link down below to deborahcanada.org. That's an organization that I'm sure Jonathan would have appreciated it if you supported them. If you can. The other is a developing story. I don't want to say too much because not all the details are out yet, but it sounds like a junior A team called the Humboldt Broncos. Their team bus collided with a semi-truck. It sounds bad. I don't want to say details because they aren't confirmed yet, but it sounds very bad. So keep the family of Jonathan Pietra in your prayers tonight, and also keep all of Humboldt in your prayers tonight.
Panago Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Is it cynical of me to think that Dana White loves every second of this?
It is misguided.
You think it's misguided?
I think he's actually mad. Well, Adam, why don't you think he's mad?
Well, because
you seem to think...
Dana White is the ultimate...
Don't look at me through the microphone.
He's the new Don King, right? Every promotion is everything that you can promote is good.
People.
For sure. Well, he's also... and any promotion is good promotion. Like when the fighters get up on the stage, these guys who are assassins, these people who are in the best physical shape of their entire life, and he puts one fat arm in front of the two of them and goes, "No, guys, you can't fight each other. I've got my big fat arm in front of you.
Stop it.
Come on."
Yeah.
You know, like this. And listen, I know that he's mad. There's no question that he's mad. There's good reason to be mad. But don't tell me that he's not at least a little bit thinking, this is really good for my card this weekend.
The card lost three fights.
He would be thinking that if McGregor didn't ruin the main event.
Right. So if it had just been a minor event, it'd be fine.
So, okay, what was ruined? Because I saw something about a face-off between Khabib and someone who wasn't Holloway.
I know who none of these people are, but
yeah.
So Holloway's now out, but
Why is he out?
That had nothing to do with McGregor.
Oh.
Holloway's out because he couldn't make weight. And then,
but he was a replacement anyway.
And then he was a replacement on short notice anyways. Of the original guy who got injured.
And by the way, weighing is so dumb. It's so dumb. Is it not the dumbest?
No.
It's necessary, but the way they do it is a little dumb.
Okay, but we won't get into that. So continue, Jesse. Sorry to interrupt.
So Holloway's, I forget the original fighter's name who was actually on this card. He tripped over, I think, an electrical cord and he tore some ligament in his knee. So he
Tony
got
Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson. There you go.
Jeez.
So yeah, he got taken out, and then Holloway comes in. They're like, okay, you got to lose. I think it was 32 pounds in 12 days.
So don't eat.
And he's like, I'm going to do it.
What was the fight at?
155.
Max Holloway walks around at 180?
Yeah, so he needed to get down to like 30. I think it was 32 or 22, one or the other.
How do you do that
I'm
without
sketch you on the
surgery?
details, but I'm gonna put down Fortnite so I can keep telling this story.
Or are you playing Fortnite online? Yo, the best, right? Man, anyway.
Some fighters lose 30 pounds easily. Brock Lesnar did it, but he's also, he walks around close to 300 pounds.
Yeah, it's percentage of weight, right?
Yeah.
He's like, that's a chunk of you.
That's only 10%. That for somebody like that would be like 20% of their weight.
So the athletic commission told him he can't keep losing weight because it won't be healthy for him to fight at 155 for the next week.
How does Cyborg ever fight?
So he had to drop out of the fight, and then they bring in, so then Holloway doesn't make weight. So then now they're trying to find replacements, and the two replacements who weighed in, they weighed in at 155.2.
Which is okay.
So, which is okay to fight, but they need to be at 155 or under to make it a title fight. So the .2 knocks out any title opportunity for that fighter. So this weekend,
Oh my
I forget the guy's name. He's going to be fighting this weekend.
Ally Quinta, I think.
Yeah. And then if alphabet soup last name.
Nurmaga. Ariel Helwani does such a good job of it. It's Khabib.
Khabib.
Yeah.
If Khabib wins, he gets the title. If the other guy wins, he doesn't get the title. He just gets a win. Because he's not the right weight. So that's their main event for tomorrow night, which is completely fucked.
You might have noticed we haven't talked about UFC on the show in a very long time, and that's because, like, I don't know if I like it anymore.
Well, I was watching
like MMA. Sorry.
I was watching the whole thing, and I'm cutting you off here, but to add to your point, I was watching the press conference with Dana White today. And I guess, so they strip Conor McGregor, who hasn't fought in 500 days.
Well, like, if you want the attention so bad, Conor, fight!
Yeah, so he hasn't fought in 500 days, and they strip him of the title. So apparently what he did was he loaded up his buddies and from Ireland, and they flew over, and this is what Dana White said.
That's one part of what happened, yes.
And then they started what they started. That's kind of the...
So he's
after they found out he was going to strip him.
He's got a training partner named Artem Lobov, I think,
who was going to fight.
And supposedly Khabib and his crew got in his face because Lobov was talking some mad trash. So then they, again, literally just fly across, come to this media day that, like, I don't think anyone even knew they were coming to. And McGregor friggin' throws a dolly through a bus window. But, in order for your publicity theory to be, like, solid...
I'm not saying they set this up. All I'm saying...
Well, it's just, like fighters got injured. That's why they can't fight.
No. I'm not saying that this was I'm not saying there's a conspiracy here. I'm just saying Dana White's going, there sure is a lot of attention on me and my brand.
But it's not good attention.
Doesn't matter.
And
it doesn't matter.
It distracted from earlier in the day, he might have ruined the main event of WrestleMania. Did you hear that?
With Lesnar coming back
Because
to
he basically
the UFC?
goes, yeah, Lesnar's coming back to the UFC, which, by the way, like, now I can't take that aspect of UFC seriously because John Jones got chastised for his drug offenses, and rightfully so. But now you're going to bring back Brock Lesnar.
Didn't he win the championship or won the title? They caught him with doing drugs and then they didn't even strip him? Like, wasn't that... Or they caught him with steroids? Or there was a fight?
He came back for 200.
Yeah.
Was caught on steroids. He fought Mark Hunt, who is, very obviously not on steroids. And, these guys are taking blows to the head, which, that risk comes with the territory, but you want to know that the guy punching you in the head isn't on roids. So, I can't watch a fight with confidence that it's clean. The belts mean literally nothing. Nothing! The 145 belt is a wash. The 155 belt is a wash. Lots of the belts are a wash. Well, one of the women's belts, I think it was the 145 one, the first, I don't even remember her name. She won the belt and then found out she had to fight Chris Cyborg next and just decided, I don't want it anymore.
Really? Nobody wants to fight Chris Cyborg.
She's monstrous.
Yeah.
She will punch a hole through your neck. So I don't know. I can't, it's hard to be a fan of UFC.
So, Jesse, is it hard for you to be a fan of UFC given what just happened? Does this change anything for you?
Yeah.
How?
It's not, the UFC isn't in a good position right now because they can't put a good card together. They have no fighters who consistently win, so you can't build anybody up. And then their biggest star is running around like he's on a bunch of drugs.
Well,
which is the latest rumor.
Everyone on Twitter is like, yeah, McGregor's on drugs. Dude, he threw a dolly through a bus.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I look at that, like, honestly.
In a foreign country, might I add. That guy got arrested in a place where he doesn't live.
When you look at that, honestly, it's not like he won't be back.
I don't know.
Guys,
I said after the Mayweather fight,
he's coming back.
He's living the dream. Like 4 years before that fight, he was on like government assistance.
Uh-huh.
And now he's got 9 digits of money, at least 9 or 10 digits. Millions upon millions. And he's like a new father, and you're going off to another country to an event you weren't even invited to, getting arrested?
Mm-hmm. And you have a short career as a fighter.
Man, fight or retire. What is this nonsense? I didn't understand it.
The one terrible thing about this is he's going to get sued. And he's going to lose so much of that money that he earned in the Mayweather
Well,
fight.
depends on. Well, he'll lose money through the lawyers defending him.
All of those guys he took off the card this weekend, they're going to sue him.
Yeah, of course they are. Because it's lost
UFC
income.
should sue him. Dana White could sue him.
And who knows how much.
Or he
millions
could
he's
come
gonna
back
lose.
for a fight and they forgive everything, which I think is going to happen.
No, but the other guys don't care if McGregor.
Oh
comes back
no,
for a
but I
fight.
mean the UFC's not going after Conor McGregor.
No,
They need him, and he knows that.
Maybe.
They need him until they get a new star. That's the point. The problem with
This
the
star
UFC
hasn't
is
fought in a very long time.
they have centralized. They centralized on two people for a while there in like 2015. It was Ronda Rousey until she lost, and it was Conor McGregor.
Pretty much.
And
And
George
St.
like
Pierre wasn't
'cause,
in the picture.
like when he fought Nate Diaz, right? It was kind of like that was one of the big. It was one of the big events.
And then there was this huge upset.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fights him again, and it's one of the best fights they've ever had in the whole company. And I think he fought once more. And that's it.
That's it. So I mean, they either have to go out and find some new fighters,
The best
or
athlete,
they gotta eat crow and bring him back and wait till he loses.
the best athlete in the sport, let's assume that's what we're calling him, has never defended his belt. He won the 145, never defended it. Won the 155, never defended
Now,
it. It's crap.
if you're in
the
his
belts
court,
don't mean anything.
ignore the fact that he just threw a dolly through a window, which was a terrible idea. If you get stripped, it sure is far better to make the UFC the enemy rather than you lose. Do you know what I mean? So from a PR perspective, and go with me on this one just for a second, okay? Get crazy. Let's get crazy. If you lose that belt,
JFK.
yeah. If you lose that belt, you've lost. If you're stripped of
Right.
that belt, the UFC is the enemy and people are still on your side because you haven't been beaten. Because why else is he not fighting?
Well, because he doesn't need to.
Exactly.
So what's he
that's-
showing up for?
Because he wants people on side.
You're like,
Because he
you're
knows
living the dream.
he's
You're
a
28
populist fighter, man.
Or 29, loaded. You got a girlfriend who supports
Why
you
would he fight again
unendingly. You got
and
a
risk
child.
injury for the rest of his life? He doesn't need to.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And that's the thing is that what he
Bingo.
can do is become. That's what I'm saying, Brooksy. What he can do is become a broadcaster.
Damn it. Oh yeah. So there's. Should we move on from UFC to there's
Saturday
now-
night, our first live
Oh.
podcast. That's right. It's really not our first. I guess it's our second. It's our first live. It's our first live because we're live streaming it.
live podcast in front of more than 12 people.
Yeah.
I count the Panago one as a live podcast.
Yeah, I just put a stipulation on it. So this is. You know what sounds less cool? Our second live podcast.
Well, this is the first one that's going to be accessible worldwide at the time of recording.
Live streamed podcast.
So that's the thing. I think in that way it's a first because that was kind of like live to tape, whereas this is actually live, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be at the Rec Room. There are some tickets that do still come up on Reddit. If you go to the Steve Dangle Reddit page and you cannot come, please give up your tickets to somebody else who would like to come. There are people flying in from like Dallas.
Fort Worth, I saw. Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
And there's a few people driving from a decent distance. I think there's a few driving up from the States as
Right.
well, which that's just blows my mind. I don't
You know
get it.
what? Save the gas money. Don't come.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
worth
Don't come. Sure.
The Steve Dangle podcast, and that's the end of the episode.
Imports Dragon is actually going to donate a prize. Now, I was mentioning this that they are they've got a bunch of all the figures that Steve gets. They're all Imports Dragons ones, but
The new ones, yes.
They got Matthews 12 inches, JAVR 12 inches, Willie 12 inches. They're all available at Walmart.com. But basically, and you can get Lundqvist, Price, Waugh, Belfour in Chicago. There's a whole bunch of figures available. But we will have a prize pack which includes a 6-inch Willie.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I don't even know if it does. I just like to say 6-inch Willie.
I think we should call it the 6-inch Willie prize pack.
We should. I'm not sure how they would feel about it.
Why?
What if we gave away 9 of those 6-inch Willies?
Oh, well, that'd be nice.
Do you think people would say we're nice guys?
I think they would.
Total attendance tomorrow, by the way, expected to be 420.
Steve, where did you want to go? Where did you want to go with this until I interrupted you?
With what?
Well, I mean, with the show, it seemed like you were going to bring something up.
So there's a new thing on Reddit, and it is the Steve Dangle podcast bingo game.
Oh.
Which I think there's a legitimate chance we could fill the board every single
Yeah, but I don't.
show.
It makes me uncomfortable because when I read through it, I'm like, oh, we're just a broken record.
It didn't make me feel good about myself.
You could just build like a robot, like a Siri like robot to just spit out our catchphrases.
I'm looking for
and it
this.
would probably sound like a good episode.
Awkward. The funny bot. Oh my God, is the South Park reference on there?
It is.
It probably is. Like, you know what's gonna suck? When we're feeling really good about ourselves, like partway through the live show, and someone just goes, bingo! Because we're gonna hit it.
See, now
Now it's going to happen in the first
Damn
sentence.
it,
I hope they do.
No.
I hope they do. Hot take is
But
a
I wanted a
jam.
Ferrari cake is on there.
Dude, I said it for like 3, 4, 5
Yeah, you
episodes.
said it like 8 weeks in a
Well,
row.
listen, some of these are pretty new. Like Mitch did a Mitch thing. That's new.
Yeah, but
Tavares as a Leaf daydream. Like, that was
That's
literally
pretty new.
last episode.
And also
That's a
saying,
little extra.
No, we've done
Steve yelling is too easy.
we've done Tavares so many times.
No.
Yeah. There's YouTube clips I've cut in like January of, hey, Tavares is coming to the Leafs. And then we did it.
Is that how we sound? Is that how your impression is? Hey, Jesse, what's your podcast sound like?
We're on a sound like this. I'm Steve Dangle, and I'm Adam Wild.
This is the impression you do when you're just impersonating somebody and just like it. This is this guy. He kind of talks like this.
Why are your hands up in the air?
It's like bumpity bumpity. I'm Steve Dangle.
He's Italian. Okay.
Jesse's from Foggia. I love Foggia, Jesse. Jesse
right.
DiPuglia.
Good Sicilian man, Steve Dangle.
Yes. So
Hey, Jesse, there's a thing I wanted you to bring up. So pull that
Cat
up.
friendly?
No, not that. No, the
What
thing
is
we were
it?
talking about on Messenger. Steve.
Oh.
Yeah. so
Tuesday.
what if
Oh.
everybody, there was an extra playoff game that was not technically a part of the playoffs? Maybe a game 83, a wild card to determine the wild card.
well, and if we get this, there will technically be 2 in a way. Because Saturday night's game between Colorado and St. Louis will decide the final wild card in the West. And there could potentially be another.
Jesse, explain this to us.
If Philadelphia loses its final game of the season by exactly 2 goals, that's Saturday versus the Rangers, and Florida wins its final 2 games, both in shootouts, then we get a play-in game on Tuesday.
Because that would be a perfect tie.
A perfect tie. So they would have the same amount of regulation plus overtime wins. They have the same amount of points in their series and the same points in the regular standings and the same goal differential on the season,
So
which would be crazy.
that would be nuts. The Panthers, who are their last 2 games against? Because you
So-
said the Flyers have the Rangers,
Yes.
which is a game I saw recently. And the Rangers didn't look great, and they lost.
The Panthers have Buffalo and Boston, Saturday, Sunday.
Boy, oh boy. And by the way, that Sunday game might not just be to get the Panthers into the playoffs, but it could be Boston playing for first place in the East.
It also might not happen. They could also just scratch the entire game from the schedule because it's a makeup game from earlier in the year. And if it had no playoff implications, they would just cancel it. 'cause
No
it's like,
way.
That's trash.
why are we playing this extra game? It doesn't
No, they
matter.
should have to play. It's
They
82.
should absolutely have to
You
play
don't,
that.
you don't have to play a game if it doesn't mean anything in the standings. You can cancel the game.
Okay,
it happens.
The Leafs have third locked up.
Hold on,
The Habs
hold
aren't going
on.
to
It
qualify
happens,
for
it happens
anything.
in baseball all the time because there's rain delays, and if the teams don't play again, there's no way to schedule in double headers.
What game
you
of the
can
season?
just cancel the game.
What game of the season did Nikita Zaitsev get hurt in last year? Wasn't it against Columbus in the last game?
I don't know.
They should absolutely have to play that game. That's trash. That is huge trash.
No, but it makes sense.
So if both sides
Oh, it
agree to
makes sense,
cancel,
but
Yeah, you can cancel because it doesn't have any effect on the standings.
neither does Toronto Montreal.
that's sort of bullshit.
No, but it's a game you're playing. That does have effect on the standings because Montreal could win the game and move up or down the draft
show me.
lottery.
Here, well, what's the standings?
Here's what's surprising to me about that.
We're getting to the bottom of this.
Montreal could get Darlene because they lose Saturday to Toronto. It has an effect on the standings.
Or win.
If this Sunday game had absolutely no effect on any team moving up or down, just cancel it. Who cares?
But
Who gives a shit?
here's what if I'm an advertiser, I care. If I'm a broadcaster, I care. Because I have sold advertising time for that game. You're telling me that you're not going to play it? Then you're
you get your
reimbursing
money
me.
back.
That game is actually
No, then
super
I have to give
important
the.
for
So,
Montreal.
okay, if I am the broadcasting channel, let's say I'm Sportsnet. I personally am Sportsnet. I'm all of Sportsnet.
Wow.
And you decide to cancel your hockey game. Let's say it's Toronto Montreal to give it a local flair. It's Saturday night, which they would never do. They would never cancel a Hockey Night in Canada game. But if it's Saturday night, Toronto Montreal both go, you know what? Doesn't affect the standings. Let's cancel it. what happens to the money that I'm expecting as the broadcaster who paid you, the NHL, for the rights to broadcast that game? And it's an insane amount of money, by the way. What happens?
See, funny thing about the game, it's already been canceled. It already didn't
But
exist.
you still sold it though,
postponed.
Jesse.
No, it got canceled.
If it got canceled, what's it doing on the schedule?
They rescheduled it.
They postponed it, man. And that's the thing. If you sold that, you have to pay that back as the broadcaster.
Jesse, you could be making so much more money as a lawyer.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
I don't know. Why am I sitting with you two schmucks?
You just didn't want to go to school
Connor?
for 8 years or whatever it is.
watching us do this all the time?
These
With our hands
guys
up in the
in
air?
here. And
Jesse, you should be a lawyer.
I don't know.
I said to Steve, I think I've been a little hard on our friend.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. I feel
Wow.
like if I'm the broadcaster, I'm calling up the NHL being like, you owe me some cash.
Watch some baseball.
It's just I feel bad because I came up with this thing called Beba, which is basically baseball things that make no sense that I can't explain. What is the
every
hockey equivalent of that?
Fielder's choice. I don't know.
Beba.
Beba.
That's Beba.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a good point.
What's the hockey equivalent of that? Because like every game, they're just making up stuff that I'm just finding out about.
I don't know what happened in Nashville earlier this week.
Okay, well, wait.
See,
wait a minute. That goal, Adam gets to call, and you say it's...
I say it's a goal.
Oh, you're so wrong. You're so wrong.
You're wrong on this one.
Yeah, I'm Captain Dump on the refs.
I'm mostly just saying it because I know you guys are going to say it's not.
Oh, well,
Come on.
and I'm Team Carrie Underwood, so fuck you guys.
wow.
No, I'm kidding. I'm
and
kidding.
Kiefer Sutherland.
I love you. Yeah, and
apparently,
Kiefer
who
Sutherland.
randomly interjected in there.
Yeah, when did he become a Nashville Predators fan?
When
He's
it became
from here.
cool.
Yeah,
That when it became cool.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
How do you do, fellow hockey fans?
It's so funny. The night, I guess, according to Elliot Friedman, the night before the NHL officially moved the goaltender interference call to the Situation Room in Toronto, it sent out a league-wide memo asking executives, coaches, and players to stop complaining about the reviews. And then here we are.
That was
Here
the
we
right
are.
call, though. Like, you can't move the goalie with your stick, which is what they
But
did.
a lot of people didn't feel that way.
That's fine.
A lot of people disagreed, Steve.
They're allowed.
A lot of people said, but actually.
Well,
I just think it's funny how.
Who is the team that gets screwed over in Game 7 of their playoff series on a goalie interference goal?
whoever's in the cup final. That's my answer.
Oh, my bet it's that it's Nashville.
Again?
And no offense, I mean, Nashville's been so great. It's always the team with the best story that's been so great. That's been like a real like feel good story.
Oh, no, then it's Vegas.
Oh, can you imagine? Oh,
The expansion Golden Knights
yeah, because
are
Nashville's
about to win the Stanley Cup, except goalie interference.
okay. Now who are they playing? Who are they playing? Who are they playing? Here, let me pull it up. I want to pull it up.
No, it's got to be
Boston.
someone. It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be Boston.
because
Has to be.
It has
and
to
it's
be
got
the
to be
worst
Marchand to
team.
Bergeron or vice versa.
Yeah.
Boston, because the refs are so against us all the time.
Is that
oh
what
my God.
Boston said?
Is
that what people in Boston are saying?
No, it's okay. I like Bruins fans. I think we get along swimmingly, but I think during the playoffs, I might lose some Bruins fan friends. I might. Because they can't
They're used to
say
Brad
a damn
Marchand.
thing when it comes to any call ever. They're not allowed. They're forbidden from speaking. You get everything and have for like 8 years.
The fact that
Stop it.
Marchand was not suspended for cross-checking a guy in the face while he was falling a couple of games ago.
I'm surprised
Like,
he didn't have
what?
to pay.
You can't suspend a guy when the playoffs are about to start.
Yeah, right?
Like,
except for when he spears a guy in the nuts
No.
last season with 2 games to
Yeah,
go.
but
Jake Dotchin.
they accidentally suspended him then.
I mean, Jake Dotchin probably deserved it. If there's any player that deserved it, it would have been Jake Dotchin, the way he plays. Let's be honest.
It would have been Brad Marchand spearing himself in the nuts. That's who
If
it
Jake
would have been.
Dotchin and Brad Marchand had, at the same exact second to the millisecond, speared each other in the nuts, could you have suspended either of them?
No, here's what you do. You have Brad Marchand jump on Zdeno Chara's shoulders. Jake Dotchin jumps on Victor Hedman's, and they friggin' nut joust. And they just both try to spear each other off of the other.
I give it to Hedman just because he's a little lower and have a lower sense of gravity.
And they are aiming low.
Right?
There
So
you go.
I would think that it would be easier Not easy, but easier to knock Chara off his balance.
Marchand would be, aiming down, which would knock himself off balance.
Right.
And then he would eat it.
Right.
No, like think of what I want to know the number. What percentage of goals are reviewed? And what percentage of goals are overturned?
Good question.
Because how many goals are in the playoffs? How many of those goals are super important? 1-goal games, overtime. It's going to happen. I mean, a bunch of Nashville fans are listening right now going, this happened. This already happened.
Yes.
Can you imagine? Yes, I can. It happened.
Yep.
But you got to admit that wasn't overtime. When's it going to happen?
So it's going to happen to Vegas against Boston.
Game 7.
Yeah, the only unrealistic thing about that is the Leafs are going to beat Boston.
Yes, they are.
But that I could see that movie scenario.
Now, our hockey seer, Gus Katsaros,
Yes.
who predicted, rightfully, that the Chicago Blackhawks would not make the playoffs on this very show.
He did.
And he was bang the hell on that one. I don't think he could have predicted that Duncan Keith would have 2 goals, but...
does he have 2 now?
Yeah, he scored just a day ago. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, a day or two
What?
ago.
I didn't know.
That was a big
So
story.
wait, that means he's not going to have the lowest non-zero save percentage ever, right?
He might still.
I mean, save percentage, shooting
He
percentage.
might still.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, it was 0.5%.
Yeah.
And that was a record. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that he's hoping the Leafs get Boston. And I tweeted him and I said, "Are you nuts?" And he said, because, all we've heard about with Tampa, and maybe they're doing this to throw us off. Andre Vasilevsky coming out, he's tired. They've kind of fallen off a bit for the first time since October 13th or 18th or whatever it was. It was a googly looking number.
Yeah.
Tampa was not in first place in the division. He said this, and I thought this was very seer-like. He used Chicago again, and he said the thing with Boston is that they are loaded to one line. It's the Pasternak, Bergeron, Marchand line. It's not to say that they don't have secondary scoring, but
Of course.
the Leafs have a far more spread out scoring punch. And he said, I wonder if it wouldn't be the same as the Chicago series last year when Kane, Panarin, Taves, and Sharp were all shut down by Nashville because they had a far more balanced attack. Now, in that particular series, you have 4 number 1 defensemen playing for one team, whereas the Leafs have 2, maybe.
One, and it's
half?
like his first year as a 1.
Yeah.
Gardner's a 1 at this end of the ice.
Yes.
Not the Leafs end of the ice. Now you're depending on Zaitsev and Polak.
Right. So
And Hainsey. The ghost of Ron Hainsey, by the way.
he will rise again.
That's how he
will
prevents
rise again.
people from coming into the zone. He goes, boo.
Easter just happened. He will rise.
Wow, Adam.
He will. Just saying. Give him time. Give him time.
I was trying to give him a nickname based on what you just said, and I'm not going to.
There might be several communities you offend by that.
There's
so
10 years of Catholic school that won't allow me to make that joke.
That's good. Okay.
So
That's good. So I want to. This is a headline that I actually saw from our good friends at Russian Machine Never Breaks. This might be the best line ever. If this weekend Columbus beats Nashville, Philadelphia beats New York, and Ottawa beats Pittsburgh, then the Washington Capitals would play the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round.
in the first round,
The first line is that, or the next line is, "That's fine. I want it. I don't even care. Do it."
you're wrong. Whoever at Russian Machine wrote that, you're wrong. Like, okay, I want the Leafs to have a second crack at Boston.
In the second round.
Yeah, I don't care. First or second. It's cool to have a second crack at it. A rematch, if you will. How many rounds is this? 9?
That's a good question.
How many times in the Crosby-Ovechkin era have these guys faced each other? And Washington's won none of them.
How many times have they faced each other?
At least 3. And it went very poorly for Washington all the times. All of the times, which means they win this year.
Well, and that brings me to the next headline, which is the Caps have said they will decide on Barry Trotz's future after the playoffs.
That's the right move.
His contract is up. Here's his record with the Capitals. Are you ready for this? 204, 89, and 34.
Wowzers.
You can't tell me that you haven't already made up your mind. And I don't care about, the Capitals haven't got past the second round. Well, you know what? A lot of teams don't get past the second round, guys.
So?
And that's I find it very, listen, I'm just saying this to Brian McClellan and the Washington Capitals brass because I know they listen. I mean, the Pittsburgh Penguins listen. We know that. Or at least their Twitter account does.
Stanley Cup ring holders
have listened to this show.
Listen.
We don't know that the Twitter account was there at the time of the Stanley Cup winning.
Listen.
But we can find out because if you're listening, maybe you send out a picture of your Stanley Cup ring.
Yeah, or blink twice.
Or blink twice if you got one.
Like last time.
Maybe just include something in a tweet.
Here's what the Caps need to watch out for.
I don't know.
Just tweet a wave.
Here's what the Caps need to watch out for. I think if they let Barry Trotz go, they could be looking at what the Ducks looked at 2 years ago when they had Bruce Boudreau. They had a disappointing playoff exit. They had a fantastic regular season record, and they lost. And the musical chairs of coaching happened, and they were left on the sidelines. And who did they end up with? A guy who has arguably made them not as good.
Boy, but they're in the playoffs.
Sure.
Not as good as they were good before.
Yes. Now, I don't want to say bad, but let's not pretend that the Anaheim Mighty Ducks aren't playing Randy Carlyle hockey.
Boy, when Carlyle gets to a town, does he just pump his goalie full of undetectable roids? I don't even know because John Gibson has been making them look amazing.
Sure has.
Amazing.
Now, Mike Augello, I tweeted about this, and Mike in Buffalo, Mike Augello said to me, hey, listen, Trotz's contract's up. They have a hot coaching prospect in Todd Reirden. But here's the deal. Barry Trotz has, I think, earned the right to lose in the second round and continue to keep his job. He's over 100 games, over 500. In 3 seasons, 4
that
seasons.
didn't matter for Bruce.
And it
when
should,
he was
though.
a Caps coach.
It should matter. That should matter. Why are we, when we get into the top 8, the top 4 in the league, that should be okay, we're keeping the coach. Mm-hmm. That's your job is safe level. I don't care. I understand saying maybe in the playoffs if you lose in the first round and it's super disappointing, Bruce Boudreau. Okay, fine. Because that's still just barely the top half of the league. But you get to the top 8? Are you kidding me? You're going to let a guy with that record go?
Adam, what example do you always use? The Steelers and the Patriots. They're coaches. They're there forever for a reason.
Steelers have had 3 coaches.
Well, on that note, is this another example of dumb sport?
Dumb sport?
Yes.
Maybe dumb sport.
The Blackhawks didn't make the playoffs for the first time since, I think, the 40s. And they're talking about, they've since squashed this, but it took them a few months. They were talking about getting rid of Joel Quenneville.
So they've squashed that. I was going to bring that up.
This week.
Because I wonder
They made
if
an announcement yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, was that it?
he'll be back?
He'll be back.
Because the
And
word
Stan
was
Bowman.
he might have wanted to go because he and Stan Bowman are having issues. Rightly so. He was against the Hjalmarsson trade. He was against the Panarin trade. And he was right on both accounts. And Bowman, those are two, I have to be honest with you, those are two absolutely fundamentally disastrous trades for the Blackhawks. Had they just left it alone, they'd be in the playoffs this year.
Or they'd be in the race for sure. They'd be there. Even
with the goaltending injuries they suffered.
Yeah, that really sunk them. Honestly, if Corey Crawford stay healthy, maybe they're in the playoffs. So, but that just strengthens your point, right? They didn't need to rip this team apart.
They overreacted. They
I think you're
overreacted.
right.
And I think for the Caps, fine, you've got this hot coaching prospect. But here's a guy that's already proven. The whole point is you want a guy to prove he can win.
But
and
what
he's
about
winning.
the shiny new thing?
Right?
That's unproven.
You have a coach that is already winning. Why are you going with an unknown when you have a known?
Do you go with the veteran coach who's been there and
Whose winning percentage is over 600?
Who's stuck
I'm not
in his
even
old
talking about
ways?
him. I'm just who is potentially stuck in his old ways.
Winning ways.
Ways that can't get past the second round.
Oh man.
Oh, just like the last guy.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, that was sarcasm, but it's technically
It's fact.
I mean, but listen, do you want the scraggly vet who's been there? Like, let's say they're available. Let's say a guy with the resume of Mike Babcock is available. Do you want that guy?
Joel Quenneville.
Sure. Or do you want some brand new guy managing the talent and ego of Alexander Ovechkin?
Scraggly guy.
Yeah, I kind of think so. You're going to just have the AHL call-up, literally a coaching call-up.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, Alex, you take instructions from this guy now.
I want to bring up a name who was a hot young coaching prospect.
Can you hit the TV first?
Yeah, I can shut it off.
Thank you. Yeah.
Dallas Eakins was the hottest prospect coming out of the AHL in terms of coaching. Now, he ended up in Edmonton
With a 5-year deal.
with a 5-year deal and I think he lasted the 1 year. Was it the 1 year?
It might have been a year and a half. Wasn't long.
Wasn't long. Now, is all of that his fault? Absolutely not. That was the height of the Oilers. That was peak Oilers having the worst management.
He got 1 year and 31 games.
So they
Less than a year and a half.
So they basically fed him to the wolves because they didn't give him a chance. They didn't give him a goaltender. He had some great firepower up front, but it was like Eberle and Hall and Yakupov before we
Young
really knew that
Nuge.
Yakupov wasn't going to be
Super
what they
young
thought.
Nuge. Can you look up list of Oilers coaches?
Oh, sure.
I just want to see, like, at what point is it not the coach's fault?
I have it
Well,
in
I think
front
that-
of me.
Okay, so we got, oh my goodness, what years? Oh my goodness. Okay, so basically, like, when do we even do this from? From the beginning of, like, the Eberle era, we'll say, which is like the rebuild Oilers.
Start at Craig McTavish.
Well, okay, we got Craig
Craig
McTavish.
McTavish, which time?
2000, 2001, and then there was 2008 and 2009, followed by
GM
one
McTavish.
season. Followed by 82 games of Pat Quinn. Tom Rennie lasted exactly 2 seasons. Ralph Kruger was there for just the 48-game lockout shortened season. Eakins lasted less than a year and a half. Todd Nelson lasted 51 games, and Todd McClellan, who they're talking about firing, 164 games.
He's the longest tenured coach since Craig McTavish.
Well, since Tom Rennie.
Well, they're tied.
I think he needs one more
He's
game.
gonna get one more game on versus the Canucks tomorrow night.
Or is he? I'm kidding.
Imagine. And then he's going to be the longest tenured coach since Craig McTavish the first time.
If Todd McClellan gets fired,
He's above Bettman 500.
and if Trotz gets fired, if I am McClellan, I sign with McClellan in Washington, and they give me a great team, and all of a sudden I'm a great coach again.
You know what's going to be
Because
funny?
this is not Todd McClellan's fault. He's done some weird things this year, for sure.
The Oilers need to add like just the teeniest little bit of talent.
That'd be
and
great.
McDavid's there, Puljujärvi will develop, and then they'll have a new coach in there, and they'll be like, this guy's a genius.
If they had gotten
That's the only explanation.
Coyotes anti-Ranta goaltending in the second half, they would have been pushing for a playoff spot right now.
And he got a big deal. What was the deal?
3 years, 4.25 each year.
Scott
good.
Darling money.
One funny thing about coaches being fired, this is going to be the first season since the 60s that the NHL has gone a whole season without a coach being fired.
Well,
That we know of.
no one is surprised bad.
They could do it tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that'd be such
or
a dick.
Sunday.
That'd be a dick move.
And they
Imagine-
break that record, yeah.
Okay, if they... Here's one. So what if a coach is fired Sunday, but they decide to cancel that game? Was the season technically over?
Yes. Season was over.
Yeah.
Because as Jesse
does the
pointed
season
out,
end?
that
How
was
does
a
the
fairy tale
broadcaster
game that
make
didn't
their money
exist.
back, though?
How does Sportsnet make their dollar?
All I'm worried about is our industry surviving.
I need to know this.
the concession workers aren't going to get paid that day.
What about all the people in that union?
Rescheduled. We just turned into the American Choppers.
Oh, I think with McGregor.
I thought you were going McGregor.
We were going different memes.
Yeah.
Different
Same idea, though.
The American, that's a great
Here's
meme.
my only
It's my
point
favorite
is this.
meme. Easily.
The SpongeBob standing next to the rock is my favorite from this week.
That's a very good one.
There's a meme about all the memes that came out this week, and it was so relatable. It was like,
Would you put it on your So Relatable post Tumblr?
I did. It was like, this week's been so difficult. There's been so many different memes to come out. And I was like,
It's a lot to stay on top
It
of.
has been
I
a
don't
difficult week.
envy your job. But my point is this. The point
Here's just the cartoon.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It's your thing, Adam.
My point in hiring a coach is this. You want a coach that can win, right? Who can give you a chance. That's the point. Every year, Barry Trotz wins and gives the Caps a chance. Why? Even if his contract's up, would you even consider this? How could this possibly be? When you get to the top 8, the second round, it's literally a crapshoot at that point. A team gets hot, one goaltender gets hot, people lose their effing jobs.
I think
That's nuts.
It's a great example of how hard it is to win in sports. It's super easy to be bad. Rebuilding's easy, I think, because you can be like hidden bad for a couple years and people will still be like, they're figuring it out.
Canucks.
But yeah, if you're consistently in second round range every year, that means like you're not just a playoff team, you're a little bit better than that. You can win around every year, which means maybe we could get to the third round and maybe even win that. And then if we get that far, we got a chance. And if you're in
You're 12
that range,
wins. You're 12 wins away.
If you're in that range long enough, I think it drives you a little bit nuts.
Man.
Drives you a little bit nuts. They've been there for over a decade.
There's a purgatory in sports where it's like you have these elite teams that are going to be the championship teams, and then you have the bottom feeders. And then there's this little middle ground where you're like making the second round, but you're not quite getting the championship, and it screws you. It's
called
because then you make dumb decisions like firing a great coach.
Saint Washington Jose Shark Blue Petals.
It's called the Toronto Raptors for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, basically.
Yeah. Thanks, LeBron. But, I guess at least the Raptors were never really favored, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Capitals were definitely favored last year and the year before, and they just didn't do it. Now, hockey is such a team game. It is such a team game that it's hard to pin that. You can't even pin that on the coach. You can't even pin that on one player. You can't. You cannot pin a loss on one player.
Oh, Adam, watch me, said hockey. Watch me. You can't, except everyone does.
Man, the whole point of having a coach is to have a winning coach. That's my point. I'm going to leave it there. How the hell can you not just re-sign him? Just be like, here's a contract, go.
As far as NHL executives are concerned, over the last 2 seasons, there's only been one winning coach, and that's Mike Sullivan. That's how they think, man. That's how they think.
Dumb way to look at the world.
Yeah, well, hockey.
If there's anything I've learned in the past 10 days, I don't know about you guys, but if there's one life lesson I've learned, it's that don't you ever bet on Jake Allen. Don't ever bet on Jake Allen, because I said the St. Louis Blues, they're going to make it. Then they lose. The Hawks are going to keep them out of the playoffs.
Which
they had
beautiful.
the lead.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's great for Blackhawks fans. Such a moral victory,
It's like The Undertaker losing the casket match and then dragging his opponent in there with him. That is basically what they're doing.
To update your Duncan Keith stat, the lowest shooting percentage ever for a season. Non-zero shooting percentage in a season is 0.7. There were 5 guys at 0.7. Steve, if you want to read these names that I cannot read.
Oh my God. So wait, sorry.
I also want to know what Duncan Keith is currently at with his second goal.
I will tell you.
0.7. So, oh my dear goodness. Okay, so there's a few guys tied. I'm just admiring the fact that there have been over 12,500 players who have, I guess, at least scored a goal in the NHL because they have a shooting percentage over 0. Wow. Alexei Zhitnik was 0.7 in 2001 and 2. Still had 34 points. 1 goal and 33 assists. Jim Schoenfeld, also Buffalo. Harry Howell of the LA Kings in the 70s. Brad McCrimmon with Boston in the 80s.
Wow.
And Larry Brown,
Who had
who had two.
2 goals.
Oh, 2 goals. Wow, he must have taken a lot of shots. He did. 276. Larry Brown in the early 70s. You know what's amazing about that list? Not bad players.
No.
Like, none of them.
No.
All defense. Wait, Alexei Zhitnik was a defense?
Yes.
That was a long time ago. I forget.
And Duncan Keith's current shooting percentage is at the great number of
The great number of
1.1.
Oh, wow. Wow. If I were him, I just don't take a shot the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Why take another shot? Why wreck it?
Okay, shouldn't talk about the competition, but Ray Ferraro had a great story before the Devils game about the green jacket with the expansion Thrashers.
What did you, okay.
So the green jacket, basically, you know how scoring in golf works. The lowest score wins, whatever. So these guys all had like plus minuses that looked like they were having an amazing round at the Masters.
Okay.
So someone on the expansion Thrashers was like minus 42 or something like that with like 5 games to go or something like that and got injured. So Ferraro is out there in the, like late 30s along with a couple teammates, and the guy who was minus 40 is on the massage table, and they're like, man, you got to get like back out there. You got to get back in the lineup because we're going to end up winning this thing. And I think it was Yannick Tremblay, who used to be on the Leafs defenseman. He won it, and all night at like the end of year team party or whatever, they made him wear a green jacket.
That is so terrible. That's really funny.
Dude, you're the expansion Thrasher.
Yeah.
Can I bring up something about the Thrashers that was the most annoying last night?
Sure.
So Blake Wheeler got to 90 points.
Yes.
And he broke he's now set a record for becoming the 4th player in Jets history to get 90 points. Who are the other guys who have hit 90 points in Jets history?
In Jets history, Jets Thrashers or
So
Jets
the
Coyotes?
other guys he's now in company with are
Dale
Marian
Howard-Chuck.
Hossa,
No, I'm kidding.
Ilya
Kovalchuk.
Kovalchuk, and Mark Savard.
Healy never did?
Healy never did. He
Wow.
hit 89. But that's...
Wow.
But no. Blake Wheeler, isn't in company with Ilya Kovalchuk. That's not the franchise.
No.
So NHL, give them their damn records back.
That's
No,
what,
but
the
not the
Coyotes
same
should give the records
franchise.
back to the friggin' the
Like,
Jets. It
that's
belongs to the
ridiculous.
city that it happened in, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I don't understand. Because everyone's like, no. Okay, fine. Technically, you're right. If you're an Arizona Coyotes fan, why do you care? Why the hell would you care about a history you had no involvement in? Why would you care? And if you're a fan of another team, the question, but in all caps, why would you care? It's not even involving a team that you cheer for. I don't understand. I don't know. They're called the Jets. They play in Winnipeg. The people who watch them every night grew up, or their parents grew up, watching Dale Howard-Chuck and Dallas Eakins, by the way, and the Boulin Wall, Nikolai Habibulin, play for the Jets every night. The who? The Jets! I don't understand.
But Steve.
Do you think
What?
that-
No. Timu Solani set the record for the Arizona Coyotes with 132 points.
You bet.
He did it. He did it.
He
You
set
bet he
the
did.
record.
He did it in Arizona too. Don't you
Yep.
forget it.
Yeah.
Well, and here's what gets me is that, like, do you think that Calgary Flames fans give a shit about what happened with Atlanta?
Can I carry
Like when
over?
the Atlanta Flames existed, do you think that Calgary Flames fans are like, man, we really need those Atlanta Flames records? No, they don't care.
No.
People forget that even existed. The
It's
Thrashers
only
and the
because-
Flames, Atlanta should belong to that city.
Yeah.
You know
It's
why?
that city.
It's because the original Winnipeg Jets records are actually worth noting. They're actually impressive.
Right.
So, mine. Like, can I take my Leafs TV accomplishments and just bring them over to sports? Did you know that I was actually on the post-game show for Sportsnet, like, live a bunch of times? I was on the Sportsnet post-game
That's
show
real funny.
with Andy Petrillo a ton of times. Andy Petrillo and Paul Henrik and Bob McGill and us on the Sportsnet post-game show.
Because records carry over.
Yep. They all carry over.
That's so true.
That's
really
a
good.
really great way to look at it.
I don't know.
Perfect example.
It's just I just feel so accomplished.
Oh, so you're saying it doesn't stay in the place where it happened?
Listen, Jesse, I just want to talk about my fellow Sportsnet employee, Andy Pietra, and how great it is that we've accomplished so much here together.
No, I'm really happy for you guys.
You should. I've edited highlights for Sportsnet as well. My 3 months at NHL Network carry over. That's how it works. Did you know that I have done Zoomobile commentary for Sportsnet? I did it for 7 out of 8 summers when I was going.
I'm
through
trying to think of a
university.
parallel in my career, and I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot.
I loved when I got to feed a giraffe at the Sportsnet.
I used to pack the tampon aisle at Kiss.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty
That was
cool.
actually the feminine hygiene aisle was my aisle at Kiss.
And that was right here.
Right here at Kiss 92.5.
Technically.
Yeah.
Wow,
And
neat.
I used to make pools at Kiss 92.5. Have I told you about that? My pool making and stamp concrete days at Kiss 92.5?
Sportsnet has a pool?
Yeah. Sportsnet Kiss 92.5.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool.
I think we've made the point.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We might have.
But it was good.
Yeah, that horse is mulch.
Anyways.
No, that horse is jam.
Give the city
Oh,
of
there's
Winnipeg
another bingo.
their damn records back.
Yeah,
Timo
I don't-
Solani scored 76 goals for the Jets in Winnipeg.
So Jake Allen, how did we get here?
I don't
That's
know.
what it started on.
Okay. Here.
Well, it started with Adam being wrong
Let me just.
About betting on Jake Allen?
about saying the St. Louis Blues are guaranteed a playoff spot.
Well, I thought they were going to make a push. I thought they were like, here's a team of destiny. And then I realized Jake Allen's their goalie.
Well, hasn't Carter Hutton been in net for them? Okay, so there have been a couple goalies who have been unbelievable. Well, they've helped carry their team into playoff contention, and I wasn't even aware that they were doing as well as they were. Carter Hutton, I had in my peripheral vision.
Connor Hellebuck, who's been insane.
Connor Hellebuck's different because the Jets have been just murdering it all season, and he had one of the higher save
Oh,
percentages.
so you mean low key?
Yeah,
Unexpected and low key about it.
Carter Hutton was near the top for a while, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And then he just kind of didn't move from that position and kept going. And I'm like, is Carter Hutton good now? And then I saw that the Leafs had Keith Kincaid the other day against the Devils. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, backup treatment. And Kincaid's never really done anything in this league, so the Leafs should have an easy time with him. That was his 26th win.
Corey Schneider.
Out of 49 in his career.
Corey Schneider has really struggled this year. He's no longer the starter in New Jersey.
And it's not like Kincaid's numbers are amazing.
By the way, if I'm Calgary, I am ringing New Jersey's phone so hard for Corey Schneider. I want Corey Schneider so bad.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Yeah. Hey, so we were talking about the Blackhawks a little bit there, as often media outlets in hockey do. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the Blackhawks, and I mentioned this before, overreacted to their first round loss last year.
You don't say.
I think the next team, I'm put money on it, and I think fireworks are about to blow up because of this. The next team to overreact because they were unsuccessful this season are the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
So let's go
That's a
through
good
some of
call.
the stuff that that Brad Treliving has said. Players unable to rise to the occasion, personnel issue, not being invested, too many people standing by, not enough leaders. And he's not even really pinning much of it on Glenn Gulutzin. And Glenn Gulutzin may lose his job anyway. And Eric Francis actually wrote a piece in the Calgary Sun about how it's really
Glenn
funny.
Gulutzin is moving to Seattle.
Glenn Gulutzin is a player-friendly coach, apparently, despite the stick throwing. And, Bob Hartley was another guy that was successful there and then unsuccessful there the next year. Didn't he go from Jack Adams to fired?
That was another one of the bloggers going, give it time. And then they gave it time, and oh, look, we were right.
So at this point, you have to think there's going to be some sort of major kapow. I think that, and they're talking about it. They're coming out and saying we need to make some changes.
Flames fans, Dougie Hamilton.
Why Dougie Hamilton?
Let's talk. What do we got to do to make that happen?
They're crazy if they let him go. They're crazy.
Well,
They're crazy.
this whole conversation started because they're feeling a little crazy, which is weird because Brad Treliving is a smart GM who's
Very
made
smart.
a bunch of smart moves. Brian Burke is his president?
Yeah, but it's Brad's team, I think. I think it's Brad's team now.
I think you're right. I don't
But
think
Brian
Burke
Burke's probably going to have something to say about this.
Yeah,
he is the
he's
president.
getting old. Like, he doesn't want to wade into trades unless he does. I don't know. Old habits die hard, but
He's probably going, hey, what the hell? I mean, that's sort of his job.
I just get the impression Dougie Hamilton's a guy they're considering. And also, like, you can't trade Travis Hamonic for less than what you got him for.
Fun fact. One of the, I think, one or two other players with the lowest shooting percentage in the NHL is Travis Hamonic. What did I say? Dunkey was at 1.1.
Yes.
Hamonic's sitting at 0.9.
So he comes back and has a
Wow.
total revival next season.
So
And people will be like,
maybe
whoa, where did this come from?
There you go.
And they said that he wasn't the problem. They're like, he is one of the best character guys on the team. It's just he hasn't had the best points production season. I wondered this because the rumor, and I think this was confirmed, forgive me if it's not, but the almost true rumor we heard was that the Leafs were going to trade Van Riemsdyk to the Islanders for Hamonic at the draft on the draft floor. But
Yeah, that was the
But there
package.
may have been a player who didn't pick up their phone.
Yeah, I've also heard that might have been part of it. I don't know exactly how true that is, but the Leafs were taking a hard look at Hamonic.
Did the Leafs, given how JVR's played, dodge a bullet this year?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And I would have done that deal in a second, by the way, back last summer. In a heartbeat, I would have done it.
Yeah. Everyone needs to stop complaining that the Leafs didn't get rid of JVR. There's a reason that they're in the playoffs right now, that they look like they actually have a shot at making some noise in the playoffs right now. And, you know, a lot of the people who are calling for a JVR trade are the same people who talk about the Leafs' surplus of, you know, young wingers and everything. Well, that's what's going to allow you to just
Let him go.
have him walk.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens when you're good. Oh, woe is you. You know, you're so good. What? You can't just... Life's not a video game. You can't just trade your expiring players every year.
You can't always do that.
You know, you call around, and if you can somehow find a JVR comparable with term left and trade JVR for that person, but that deal doesn't exist, I don't think.
And there's only 30 other teams you can do a deal with, so sometimes the deal is not there.
Yeah.
So the JVR deal, by the way, was from Arthur Staple, and he had reported that Toronto was going to send JVR and a 2018 first-round pick for Hamonic.
And a 2018 first-round pick?
Wowzers. Yeah, no.
Bullet dodged.
Yeah, no.
But
yeah,
Garth
no.
Snow went in a different direction.
Garth Snow shafted his team.
No, he
Snow
didn't.
was also trying to get Duchesne
No, he didn't.
from Colorado.
He got another lottery pick. Garth Snow made the right choice.
Actually, yeah, what am I saying? Garth Snow got more.
Toronto and the Islanders both benefited from not doing that trade,
There you go.
which is weird. That never happens, but that's kind of cool.
I don't know.
And then he threw his phone in the river.
If you put JVR into this Islanders team,
Oh, he's 40 goals for sure.
are
With
they in the
Tavares?
playoffs?
Are they in the playoffs? No. They're even worse on defense than they already are. Like, I mean,
Last I checked, the Islanders were 7th in goals for. And they're not going to make the
And they're
playoffs,
going to miss by
man.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not close.
Yeah, it's not like 1 or 2 points. Yeah.
That should be on the bingo card. Every episode, Steve goes, I don't get the Islanders.
And then Dallas says, hey, Islanders, you're doing a great job.
We need the KHL's Cup of Hope to come back for all the non-playoff teams, but have it just be the NHL. And I want to see a Dallas Islanders series. The series the defense forgot.
8-7.
Yeah.
series of defense forgot. That would be sick.
Kari Lehtinen, but in road hockey pads. And Thomas Greiss wearing Glenn Healy's equipment.
Every year there should be a playoff series in the first
Darren
round.
Pang was the guy I was looking for.
There should be a playoff series in the first round that goes on while the first round is happening, but doesn't actually matter for anything. So it's between two teams that didn't make the playoffs, but the fans get to vote on them. So you could vote on the Islanders and Dallas to play, and just for fun, just to see what would happen.
Have Arizona take on
We'll call it the
Winnipeg.
John Scott Cup because it's voted on by the fans.
Oh.
Right?
They vote for the winner of the game.
No, you don't vote for the winner of the game.
No, they should vote for the winner of the game.
For the winner of the
They
game.
should play a game.
No, it should be like American Idol. You text in during the game, and at the end of the game,
Out comes Sanjaya Malakar. Yeah.
That'd be amazing. One team scores 5 goals, the other only scores 1, but fans voted.
The other team wins. The fan
can vote on
vote
goalies.
counts for 3 goals.
They only got enough
yeah.
votes to send the game to overtime.
Yeah, because they only scored 3 goals, so then it was tied 4-4 or whatever.
What if they voted on goalie interference calls too? Text your vote in now.
Let's have it.
The NHL you charge 20 cents a text?
Oh my god, so much
So
money.
much extra revenue.
They're already at Phone a Friend.
Yeah.
So that's
In
all they gotta
Toronto.
do. Yeah. They're already at Phone a Friend. We might as well. If we're making it up. Let's
We
just
should
have
run.
fun.
We should run the league.
We should.
We should just be a bonanza.
Can I talk to you about what I'm looking forward to so much?
What?
Having a beer tomorrow.
Oh, at the thing?
The live podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on stage and have a beer.
In front of people? Steve,
just-
that's very
I
unprofessional.
haven't had
you
a
could do that anytime.
Beer in a
Yeah,
while.
it's like,
Like, I
you know, you
don't
could have written and had a beer.
No, I
know.
was too tired.
No, but
I
you
would
could
have
have
gone right to
You could have
Sneakies.
just taken 10 minutes and had a beer at any point in your entire life.
But he didn't.
no,
in the last month.
I've had beer, but I want a beer tomorrow. Jesse, do you not understand anticipation? You never look forward to things. Like, for
Dude,
example,
he's in his early 20s.
tonight,
He doesn't have to
were you
anticipate.
looking forward to just shitting on your friend, Steven? You must have been. Isn't it a great feeling now that you're here doing the thing?
I prefer the term take a dookie.
Oh, you're just dropping the old double deuce on your friend, Steven. Mm-hmm. I'm looking
what-
forward to that, but in beer form.
What is your question?
That wasn't a question. I was stating that I want a beer.
All right. There wasn't a question.
Here's the thing. Everybody that buys you a beer tomorrow, you should have to drink it. 500 people, let's do it.
Mrs. Dangle, you're driving.
I'm kidding. That's not a thing. Let's not encourage drinking.
Let's not encourage
Well,
drinking.
it's against the broadcast laws in Canada. We're not allowed to encourage that people get really
Can you not drink
irresponsibly
on
drunk.
stream?
You can drink on stream for sure, but
Well,
you
that's
just
what
don't
we're
want to
doing.
encourage people to be irresponsibly drunk. That's all I'm. Listen, I'm
not.
being
I
datum.
started this by saying I want a beer. And Jesse took it to, I don't give a damn. And you took it to, let's watch Steve get friggin' blotto. I don't know.
I got a
I'm
new.
just so
I got a
tired.
new topic we got to hit. We have several to go, so
Cool,
get ready.
great.
The Sedin's tributes were amazing. They really were.
The best one is the one that they put on themselves.
Yeah, really. The question is, what now? And I don't understand this
Okay.
because you've got guys like Dolan, who you got for Burrows. You've got Gaudette, you've got Pedersen, and you've got players that are on
Dolan, who you got for Burrows?
Jonathan Dolan. Didn't they get him for in the Burrows trade?
Sorry, I was thinking about Darlene, and I'm like,
Not Rasmus.
beg
no.
your pardon,
No,
back
no.
up.
No, Dolan. This is not Darlene. Dolan.
Right,
Different.
right.
Those guys might be ready to play in the NHL next year. But what a lot of people are talking about is that and Elliot Friedman brings this up in 31 Thoughts, and it's they had some serious interest in we've talked about Tyler Bozak, that was reported. We talked about potentially JVR. Michael Backlund was a name that they were linked to or that they were said to be interested in, but he's re-signed in Calgary, so that's already done.
Right.
So a lot of people are saying they want to fill this 2 or 3 year gap before their younger players become stars with some veteran presence. And what I don't understand is why don't you just leave it and take on bad contracts? Like if I were Vancouver, the person I call is Pierre Dorian, and I go, Pierre, how can I save your job today? And I get your first round pick next year. Don't you do that? Isn't that how you do that?
Or you
and you
call
get
up-
Mark Stone too?
You call up your boss because you've been in hockey for long enough, and you tell him, let me do my friggin' job or I'm leaving. And if he doesn't let you do it, quit. I want Jim Benning to have some self-respect. Because if he is this tenured hockey man, one of the 200 hockey men, shoot, I think that's a bingo thing too. Now it's in my head. If he is one of these tenured, smart hockey guys, I got to think that some of the last 3 seasons has been ownership going, do better, sign some guys.
Spend our money.
Yeah, he's got to know that a rebuild is the way to go. Especially, imagine if they win the draft lottery and they get Darlene. Imagine. Plus all the other young guys they got, they'd be crazy to go out and waste money on random deals. Go out and get a few guys. get a little bit of veteran presence, but like don't sign 5, 6, 7 year deals.
What if you could get
for $7-8 million?
What if they could get you? Because here's the thing: it's been reported. A lot of the names in the industry who know are saying Karlsson's done. I think we saw that with the puck. The puck, him grabbing the puck in his last home game. Karlsson's going to get traded,
and then not going on the road trip. Now, I understand his need to be home. They're not going to the playoffs. They've gone through a tough situation. That makes sense. I almost feel like if he wasn't up, he would still do that anyway. I feel like that's the kind of situation it is. But you've got Duchesne, you've got Stone, and you've got Karlsson, who all after next year will be unrestricted free agents. If I am Vancouver, I'm calling and going, okay, let me help you. I want Bobby Ryan, and I want Mark Stone. And then I will take, and you can give me, I will give you nothing, but I'll take Bobby Ryan's contract, and then I take Mark Stone and I flip him to a playoff contender whenever that deal comes up. So, and they also, they got to do something about it. Like, I think Stone, Duchesne, and Karlsson are gone here. They have to be.
Duchesne, I don't know.
But then Vancouver's stuck with Bobby Ryan until 2022. That doesn't make sense.
Well,
this is the thing. I think, I was talking to someone about this today. I think it's a dumb sport. It's also magical. There's something about magic in hockey. And just the way the Sedins finished the season, I nailed it. I completely nailed it. They ended their season at home. Pat me on the back harder, Jesse. They ended their season at home with a standing ovation. A 50-50 prize of
150?
$1.2 million.
It was $1.2 million?
Divided by 2.
Divided by 2. You get $600,000. Because people were in such a good mood. They're like, here's some money.
It's a little skewed because the last game of the season every year, they collect all of the unclaimed winnings and they add it to the final total of the last 50-50.
That's insane.
So it wasn't legitimately.
I would go to the last game of the
spending
season every year then.
Still, but wow, I was about to say, holy mackerel, how'd they get that high?
Yeah.
There's something about magic. They ended with an applause. I just feel like the Canucks built a lot of good karma.
Sure.
Over the last few days. I think they're going to win the draft lottery. And I think they're going to get Rasmus Dahlin. I do. And that's when the rebuild begins. I think that's when they tighten their head onto their neck a little bit more. Okay. If they end up picking 5th, 6th again or whatever the hell, yeah, I guess maybe they go out and they do the same thing as usual. But if you get this franchise changer of a player, I think they go full rebuild. I believe in my heart the Vancouver Canucks are going to win the draft lottery. When Daniel Sedin scored that goal, I was like, that's it. They won.
When Karlsson was almost traded at the deadline, it was brought up that Toronto was looking for a second round pick at the trade deadline to potentially be in on someone.
Saw that.
Is there a chance, and this is a totally Toronto-centric question, so other than a Leaf, if you're not a Leaf fan,
enough
roll
about
your
the
eyes.
Sedins and the Canucks.
Roll your eyes. Is there a chance that Ottawa would trade Karlsson to the Leafs?
No.
Could they ever get away with that?
No.
There's no way, eh?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Unless it was a trade that made the Leafs look bad.
I know, well, for sure. We've talked about the Leafs being dream makers now. Like, all these crazy things are happening that I never thought I would ever see in my life. Like Babcock as the Leafs coach is still weird. Lou as the Leafs GM is still weird. Shanahan as the Leafs president is still weird. But I don't think they're nuts. And I don't think they're going to go out and spend a crazy amount on a guy like Karlsson for 1 year. So they're going to give this boatload to the Sens for 1 year of a player. I just can't imagine it. Unless they do. But
I think if they got him, they'd re-sign him.
Look at what Tampa gave up from McDonough.
It's insane. It's a lot.
You're going to give up more than that? Ugh. I don't know, man.
Then who gets him? How do they trade him?
It's a great question.
Because who's going to give that up? Who has that to give up?
I just can't imagine. Islanders. I just can't. Whoa.
Whoa.
I think it. Whoa.
What do they give up, though?
all the firsts in the world. Yo, Montreal's got a ton of picks. And cap
All
room.
4 second rounders.
Yeah, here you go.
It's too bad Carlson isn't French Canadian.
They just go full OHL trade.
Yeah.
They just
My first, my 4 seconds, my third, my fourth. Have everything.
here you go. It's a good question. I just don't know how you come out on the winning end of that trade.
I don't know either. I think it's too much pressure on wherever he ends up to. But I just thought I'd bring up the question anyway.
You need to be. It's got to be a team in a position like Tampa is. Like they bet the farm, but they're in a position where they could.
And they'll have McDonough next year.
And it's to the point where like they didn't bet the farm. Like they're so deep that
Well,
even though they lost a lot, they could afford it.
I wonder,
the
Steve-
Leafs don't. The Leafs aren't so deep in the organization that they can afford to give up what Tampa did.
They're not. No, you're absolutely right.
There's some depth, but they're not that deep.
I wonder if McDonough's or the McDonough trade could be comparable to what the Karlsson trade will look like because they're getting McDonough for 2 playoff runs rather than 1. Whereas if you could make the argument for
That's a great
Karlsson that
equalizer.
the fact that they didn't get him for a trade run or a playoff run this year, maybe it's the same deal that Tampa got. Like maybe it's the exact same pieces.
It's 2 runs and 2 players because you got JT Miller in there. I wonder.
Right.
Yeah, you might
I
be
wonder
right,
if
Adam.
Tampa, or I wonder if Ottawa just gets whatever that Tampa deal looks like, something similar to that, rather than more than, because quite honestly, if you're just getting him for 82 games on a bad ankle and the playoffs, that's less than 2 runs. They get 2 shots with McDonough.
One thing I've been called out on recently is just every year I go, this year is going to be nuts. But I mean, this year's going to be nuts.
It is.
That's a huge, this summer I should say, that's a huge shift in the NHL wherever Erik Karlsson goes. Mm-hmm. It's going to be enormous. But
yeah.
Sorry,
No, keep going.
I will try to satisfy Canucks fans because we sort of pulled the chute on the Sedins.
I don't know what else there is to say.
It was just a great moment, and they deserved it. I thought it was super weird that they had a 2-game goodbye party, and it wasn't the whole season or like at least a month or something like that. I guess, but it was.
They don't seem like the type
beautifully-
that would want that.
Exactly. It was beautifully Henrik and Daniel, just very subtle in the background, not loud, not noisy.
You know what was annoying?
What?
Derek Jeter, the year he retired, announced it before the season. And every single team he played, they trotted him out there at the beginning of the series and they gave him a present. And that was annoying because you had to see that all summer long.
Who was the first
I'm
team?
glad we didn't get that with the City.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Who was the first team to give him a present?
The first team they played that year.
Well, they screwed it up for everyone.
Why?
Remember the Jays had
Because
to do that.
then everyone has to
The
give him a
Jays
present.
gave him a chair made of a rocking chair made of hockey sticks. I remember that because I thought it was so dumb.
That is pretty
Derek
dumb.
Jeter he does not have that chair right now.
No.
That's not his thing. He gave it away. No. He might have even thrown it out. It's probably still at the Rogers Center.
Well, yeah, he never brought it on the airplane, that's for sure.
John
Probably.
Gibbons does like his post-game press conference. Well, we got
And it's Jeter's chair.
it's just Jeter's hockey stick rocking chair.
Anyways, I'm happy that the
What a-
Sedins did it in their Sedin way,
Is that-
where it's they should announce
Is that
it.
for real they did that? I'm
Yeah,
embarrassed.
yeah. It
Why
was
did
like
they
they
do
gave him
that?
like
Yeah.
a cottage or something, and it was a bunch of
No, that's
presents.
embarrassing.
Yeah. Every team did something corny.
Also, so sorry, Roberto Luongo, 1,000th NHL game. No one cared.
Right?
No one cared because it happened the same night as the Sedin game. You could call it.
1,000 games for a goalie's no laughing matter.
No.
That's a lot of
That's
games.
incredible. He was drafted, I want to say 97.
And all of those could have been for the Islanders, who still have a goaltending problem.
Could have been the Leafs. Could have been
Him-
the effing Leafs.
Him and Chara and Spezza could all be on the Islanders right now.
Yeah, well, too bad.
But Mike Milbury, student of the game, Mike Milbury.
Oh, well, Adam, I mean, we haven't quite seen peak Oleg Kavasha yet.
Or Mark Parrish.
No, they might really pan out.
They might.
You never know.
The Oilers' defense, in case you didn't know, cannot score.
Oh, dude.
This was making the rounds on Twitter. I believe it comes from 31 Thoughts as well. Whatever.
Oh, I saw this.
Entering Wednesday's game, Edmonton had 127 points from their defenseman. That is 27th in the NHL. Nashville is best at 195, as you would expect. You'd expect Nashville to be number one in that category. That is something the Oilers will address this offseason. It is a priority. So the way to you address that is you trade Oscar Klefbom, obviously.
Oh, well,
right?
That's a great point, Adam. And we've identified that we are lacking that thing that everyone wants. So this summer we're going to go out and get that. What? Where? Free agency? Well, all right, have fun.
People instantly went back, and I can't. People's memories are long. The Jeff Pietra trade to Montreal when they got a second and a fifth.
Dude, Jeff Schultz. Or Justin Schultz.
Justin Schultz, yes. Failure, Justin Schultz, quote unquote, failure, Justin Schultz.
It's funny. We make fun of certain GMs for not doing anything, but like, that would have been just what the doctor ordered for the Oilers over the past few years.
Mm-hmm. I think Petrie has like 40 points this year.
Yeah. He's been a rare bright spot on the Habs.
That puts them mid-pack in NHL defensive scoring. Just that one guy.
Get a guy who can pass the puck. Get a guy who can make like a good first pass, and you're the Oilers, man. You're fine. You're fine. By the way, I didn't tweet about this. Did you see maybe the worst penalty call I've ever seen against Jesse Puljujarvi the other night?
No, I didn't.
He got a penalty. The video on Reddit was titled "Puljujarvi gets a penalty for being near someone," and that's actually what it was.
What happened?
Someone fell down, and Puljujarvi got sent to the box for it.
Wow.
His stick wasn't anywhere near the guy. Wasn't anywhere near the guy. It was a terrible call. And Puljujarvi's just sitting in the box like, all right, fine. It's just a microcosm of my season. I don't even care. You can't hurt my feelings anymore.
They're not going to put me on a David's wing anyway.
Yeah, shut up. Don't care, Stripes. Jesse, are you looking up the rocking chair story?
I have a giant list of gifts Derek Jeter received.
All right, let's go through them.
Oh, that's terrible. What are those?
So the Houston Astros.
Steve, don't blow it.
The Houston
Don't
Astros.
look. Steve, don't look.
Gave Derek Jeter golf clubs and cowboy boots.
Yankee cowboy boots.
Yankee cowboy. The Los Angeles Angels. What do you think they gave him?
Like he couldn't get that stuff.
What do you think?
Hey, New York
LA?
Yankees. Can I get some cowboy boots? That's all he would have had to do.
I think he would just snap his fingers and like someone would know.
Yeah. Jesse?
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. What do you think they got Derek Jeter?
Angels in the outfield on DVD.
A Ducks jersey.
A paddleboard. A giant Yankees paddleboard, if you want to take a look.
Yo, that's a huge paddleboard.
Yeah.
That's a 12-foot paddleboard.
It's like a
right there.
novelty paddleboard.
That's enormous.
It's like the clown car of paddleboards. It's huge.
I've used a paddleboard. Like that
It's
is
not
Do you
that
think there's something comical about the size of my paddleboard?
Unless Mike Trout and Derek Jeter are very small in that picture.
I mean, maybe.
Tiny? I don't. Anyways,
The local Little League team came out and presented. Holy crap!
some of these are just normal, like a gold-plated bat.
That's nice.
Like that's you
that's
can
something
hang
you
that
can
up.
hang that.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter might keep that.
The Mets got him a cake. Like that's reasonable. You get somebody a cake.
That's the best the Mets could do. Here's $20. Here's a gift
They
card to
definitely-
Farm Boy.
If you were Derek Jeter, would you eat a cake that the Mets got
No.
you? Hell no. There is a
Laced
lot
with
of
laxatives.
there's a lot of boogers in that. Yeah, boogers and laxatives.
I'm actually surprised that's all the Mets got him.
Yeah,
That's really
They
cheap.
also made him this tile thingy. I don't know what it's made of. It might be,
It's like Mets.
I think
it's in Mets colors. What? Oh, at the top it's Mets colors, and the bottom
it's
it's
a
Yanks
subway
colors.
tile mosaic. So I think it might be made
that's
of like
okay.
the subway.
Because
Like pieces of the Subway series.
Subway series, that was one of the best,
Yeah.
best lead up to a World Series that ended up just being a total sweep, but it was so much
It
fun.
was.
All right, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's kind of cool. I'll give it to him.
The Cubs got him a piece of the outfield scoreboard from Wrigley Field.
Oh, that's
a
cool.
piece.
That's cool.
There you
Good
go.
job.
Yeah.
Good job.
The chair story is from the White Sox.
Oh, thank
not
God.
the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays one I'll bring up. It's also interesting, but I got the ones wrong. So the White Sox got him this bench made of bases and bats.
That's better than hockey stick chair,
But I don't think
And
it's
still in
sittable.
Chicago.
and not sittable.
That is still in Chicago.
So they got
I
him
would
that.
if I would have wanted a gold-plated pizza from Chicago.
They gave that
The
to
White
Barack
Sox, that is.
Obama. Noted White Sox fan.
Seattle just donated to his charity and got him a base from the field.
Great.
Fantastic.
There you go. The Minnesota Twins also just gave him a base from the field and donated to his charity. The Cleveland Indians, though, they gave him what Derek Jeter needs, an electric guitar.
Oh, because the Rock and Roll Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
At least it's custom made. Yo, it's a Gibson Les Paul. That's all right.
He's going to play it, though.
Can we just talk about
He can hang it on his wall. He can hang it on his wall. Come on, we gotta give him that.
I'm aiding.
Can we talk about how George Costanza used to work for the Yankees and the Mariners did what George Costanza did? Oh, I've made a charitable donation in your name. That's exactly what they did.
So the Toronto Blue Jays, they gifted Derek Jeter with a 3-night luxury trip to Banff.
You're joking.
It's complete with a helicopter tour of the Rocky Mountains and Jeter's choice of golf or ski lessons.
They couldn't get them both?
No, one or the other.
That is such a
You can
contra.
either go in the summer
that's the worst
or
one.
you can go
That's
in
a
the winter.
contra deal. That's a we didn't pay for this. We gave away free advertising.
Yeah,
There's no way.
Not even.
There's no way.
Okay, the Astros one is crap, but it's at least hokey. And like Banff is 3.5 hours flight away. That's
Did
not
they get him a
Toronto.
flight? Did the flight is the flight included? Not that that
don't
matters to
know.
him, but
I don't know.
that better be a first class flight.
Derek Jeter is rich enough to take like a B-52 bomber to Banff in about 20 minutes.
Are you proud of your team?
No, I'm very ashamed of the Blue Jays right now.
Am I surprised by that move? No.
That's easily the worst one that you read.
We can do 2 more.
On top of the giant novelty
I think given
paddleboard.
given the time that was for the Blue Jays, I don't think that would happen today.
Are you saying the management's a little better?
I think that the people who are in PR today, and I'm not kidding on this one, I think they're better. I think they're much, much, much better.
You could have given them Leaf season seats. It would have been more valuable.
Could have given him Jay season seats.
You could have given them tickets.
Could have given him the Florida Marlins. He got that anyway. Yeah. What did they give him?
Ooh, let me see if it's on this list. Da-da-da-da-da.
Whatever he wanted, I guess.
Man, Banff.
Sorry, gotta look through it. The
Which
Rays.
is great, I guess.
For a normal person,
Yeah, but not
Derek Jeter has signed a $189 million contract. Plus all the endorsements he ever did. Come on.
I
Hey,
can't find the
honey.
Rays on this.
Yes.
They're not
Rich
on there?
baseball player?
The
The Marlins probably got him nothing.
They
He's
didn't play
Jeffrey
the
Loria.
Marlins that year because you gotta remember that's the NL. So
Right.
you don't play every team.
Yeah, well, the Marlins probably wouldn't have got him anything anyway. Again, Jeffrey Loria.
The Tampa Bay
We can't afford
Rays
it.
got him a kayak. It's also novelty size.
Why is that Tampa? Like, really?
water? Yeah.
Who did the word get out that he loves water sports?
Yeah, no one's swimming in fresh water in Florida. Ever.
Like they put their heads together. All the baseball teams had like a group text going on. Okay, things that we know he likes: floating,
They should have just.
Alberta.
What were you gonna say, Adam? They should have gone
Well, there's a couple things that Derek Jeter likes, which are dating supermodels and doing outdoor sports. That's what he's always with a supermodel, or was at least always with a
Yeah,
supermodel.
they should give him something he needs, like
They should just-
signed baseballs and gift baskets. Wasn't that the thing with him?
He used to give that to the people he hooked up with.
Yes.
Apparently,
Supposedly.
He
They should-
signed
and
base-
That is the story.
he must be running out.
the real
There's
gift
only-
for him would have been Leonardo DiCaprio's Black Book. That would have been
What's that?
Leonardo
You know, like a
DiCaprio's
Black Book?
phone numbers.
You know, like a
Oh.
little black book you keep all girls'
Yeah.
phone numbers in. You never heard that term?
No.
Wow, Jesse's younger than you. You've never heard that
Yeah,
term?
that's an old term. Like black book.
I just turned 30. Like, don't look at me like,
and yet we know it.
I know, but I've heard of it, Steve.
Oh, Jesse, that's a great one. Let me take the pencil out from behind my ear and jot it down in my black
I'm just
book.
saying. I mean,
Final one. The Baltimore Orioles got him a bucket of Maryland crabs.
Okay, Chase, you're off the hook. They got him a bucket of crabs. They got him a bucket of crabs.
hey, If he wasn't careful, it might not have been the first time. If you know what I'm saying.
It's
a joke.
Oh, Adam
I
Wild.
kid.
Oh, Adam Wild, and not Steve Dangle or Jesse Blake.
No. Good thing Adam Wild
I
of
said
Kiss
if he wasn't
925 said
careful.
that.
Oh,
I
Adam
advocate
Wild.
safe sex
Adam
and
Wild.
not obnoxious drinking.
How could you, Adam Wild?
Saturday night. Rec
Adam
Room.
Wild of
Steve
Kiss
Dangle
925
Podcast
and
Live.
Breakfast Television.
Hey, Bob McKenzie says that Buffalo will be making some trades this summer, and by making some trades, by making some trades, he means that there are going to be players that ask to be traded. That I guess he knows that there are people asking for a way out, and there are guys that Buffalo is like, you're out of here. Get the hell out of town.
This season, Buffalo has clinched their third last place finish in the last 5 years.
And yet, in the last 4,
And they
Vancouver's still the
suck.
worst team.
Which is
How is that
unbelievable.
possible?
I don't know. I mean,
Third
Buffalo,
last in 5 years.
Buffalo
3
must
and
have
5.
charged up the standings one year to finish 22nd or something like that. They're just legendarily bad. And then the idea that they're going to be getting rid of more players. Like, at what point do you ice an NHL team? Like, they're so bad.
They keep trading them away.
And they beat the Leafs sometimes.
And
but
that's why, again, I'm calling Montreal and going, how much do you want for Ryan O'Reilly? Or how much can you give me for Ryan O'Reilly? Because the Montreal's, I don't think Tavares is going to Montreal. I know everybody's making that thing. I think, quite honestly, most likely he ends up back in the island.
Yeah.
But if they lose out on him, Ryan O'Reilly, man. Ryan O'Reilly.
But
Before
when
the
does
draft.
Buffalo start building a team and stop just tearing everything apart?
That is a very decent question.
when do they, like, rebuild is a 7-letter word, and they forgot the final 5. Like, there's no build. Did I count that right? I did.
I don't.
I don't even know what their farm team looks like.
Me neither, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leonard, I got to imagine, is the get the hell out of here guy, because there's been rumors about that for like.
And
I
then
don't know,
you
2
will
years
play
now.
goalie because who else is there left?
Why not? Why not?
I hear Antoniemi's looking for a job. I don't know, man. Like, what do you do? What do you even do there? Do you honestly? To me, you just stop picking at it. Just stop picking at it. Trade Ryan O'Reilly. Trade some of the bigger salaries on that team, because there are some salaries on that team that just don't need to be there. But beyond that, draft well.
And let them grow together.
That's the only way you're going to get out of this. That's the only way you're going to get out of this.
The Penguins, the Blackhawks, the Bruins, they draft well and they let them develop together. The Red Wings long ago, not necessarily now, but once upon a time. I think there's something to be said for developing together.
I agree.
It makes you better players.
Well, if you look at the reaction when Andreas Janssen scored his first goal, and it was, who was on the ice? It was Kapanen, Nylander, Dermott,
Hyman
and Hyman,
and Carrick.
and Carrick. All guys.
We might have got one wrong.
One
there,
run. But it was all guys that Nylander, because I don't think Matthews was playing. Nylander was the center, and then it was Hyman.
Hyman was definitely there. Carrick was definitely there. Dermott was definitely there. It was everyone.
Everyone he played with.
Yeah.
Had and that was so cool. What a great moment that all 5 of those guys had played on the Marlies together at one point or another, and they were all that jacked for each other.
Another benefit of having the team in the city as well, having the Marlies in the city. And like, if
Like it's I was thinking of the commercial, taking the bus up.
you want to take a cab ride to the Air Canada Center
Yeah, that one.
or a bus to Peoria?
Yeah. Seen that a million times.
I'm really glad they don't do that anymore. There were a couple things Burke tried, and I admire the effort, but boy, no. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, like if you look at the Leafs like social media, like they're friends. They're friends. And like it's never really mattered who was called up and on the team and who wasn't. Like they still all talk. Like Dermott and like Andrew Nielsen, I think, are like still really good friends. And Garrett Sparks seems to be a bit of a social butterfly, despite like, I don't know, what was he with the Leafs? 2 games? Something
One of
like
them
that as the
shutout.
backup? Sorry?
One of them was a shutout. Oh, you mean this season?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. For sure. Well, I think they're probably training close to the same spots. I mean, they're just a couple blocks away from each other.
The exact same spots, you know? And it helps that they're good. It helps that they're good. But a team that is developed together, I think just has a much better chance of succeeding. And Buffalo, like, the one thing I've always gotten out of watching the Sabres and like paying attention to the Sabres is they always just seem sad and mad and they don't look like they like playing hockey.
When Jack Eichel scored against the Leafs, a couple games ago, not the last one, but I
know what you
think he
mean.
scored. He had like a fuck yeah moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
He likes
just
scoring
sung.
against the Leafs.
He does. And it was kind of like, it was almost like he was letting the season out. And it was kind of like, okay, I get this. They bring it up for the Leafs, for sure. There is a hockey team there. But there's something, I mean, if you're beating the Leafs, they outplayed them that night, straight up.
Yeah.
If you could get that effort every night, and I wonder what's holding them back from that.
Talent. Dude, look at the roster that they ice every night. Like, Jack Eichel is the beating heart of that team.
Sure.
The talent, the attitude, the everything. Build around him. Let them marinate. Let them all become friends. And watch your success. I think that's what they have to do. That and trade Robin Lehner.
Now, we've talked a lot about the Leafs defense recently, and I've been a big proponent of John Carlson.
Recently.
Well, a lot.
I know.
But what to do about it once the season ends. And I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because the playoffs start next week, and it's a little bit weird. Like, it's almost like there's this calm before the storm. Everybody's kind of just quietly ignoring the fact that the playoffs start next week and how freaking exciting that is. But we're all kind of like, oh, well, you know.
It's
playoffs.
hard to visualize because isn't there, at the time we're recording this anyway, there's only one confirmed series, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, Minnesota.
That's the only one. Yeah.
That'll be a fun series, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Coldest city in Canada versus the coldest city in the United States.
How far of a drive is that?
I don't think it's far. I don't think
you
it's
can
far at
make
all.
it. If you're from Winnipeg, you're used to driving like 6 hours at a time anyway.
Yeah.
So you're probably fine with it. Jesse,
talk-
what were you going to say? I thought you were going to say something. No?
What were we talking about?
Every time I go,
I was
Jesse,
just
what
going
were
to
you
the-
gonna say?
I was
You're
getting into
always
the
like,
Leafs defense here.
I've never had a thought in my life. I don't know what you're talking
It was about
about.
the playoffs. Doesn't feel like the playoffs. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I think
Comes
I
back
was-
to you.
No.
If it comes back to you, bring it up.
I don't think I had a thought, Steve. I think that's a bingo.
He doesn't think.
Oh!
Jesse's not
Is
thinking.
that a bingo one too?
Nah.
Yeah, one of the bingo things is
I hate this.
I think it's asking Jesse, and he says
I
he
wanna
doesn't
stop
have anything
recording
to
right
say.
We talked a lot about the Leafs defense, and Dragleg Pull had a really good take today.
Doubtful.
He had a really good take.
5-hour drive.
He said, my solution to the Leafs defense is play Gardner and Riley together and then go find yourself a second pairing defenseman.
Okay. Good.
Because and now James Myrtle responded with an article he wrote in December. And it goes into some of the numbers of Gardner and Riley together, and it's weird. They're really good.
That's fine. Can I listen? I know this isn't the most fun thing to say, especially when it comes to like hockey talk, but I don't care.
You don't?
Not right now, I don't.
I care.
The playoffs start one game from now.
There's nothing to talk about until that game's finished.
Why not talk about? We could. We have talked about the Tampa matchup versus the Boston matchup ad nauseum, but like, I don't know. It just feels like a waste of time to talk about that.
Does it?
Yes, it does. Hey, you know what the Leafs should do next year? Well, how about this year?
I'm just throwing this out
How
there.
about we're almost at the most
Wednesday?
exciting part of this year?
Listen,
And I don't
I get
care.
it. I get it. I totally get it. But let me just quickly put this out here, even though you don't care.
Go ahead.
If Zaitsev regains 90% of his game from last year, because he's playing about 50% right now,
Yeah.
and you've got Dermott, and Calvin DeHaan is available.
Yeah, I'm into it.
But Steve,
I'm totally into it.
what
you
about
go.
next Thursday?
All right,
The Leafs might be playing.
All right, fine.
And that'd be cool.
All right, if you guys want to, if this interests you more,
don't you guys this.
Like, hey, Steve, what do you think about this? The Leafs defense, but they add a good player.
listen.
Hey, I'm all for that.
I'm just trying to bring up talking points here, okay?
I get it. And
So the next thing, so you don't care.
All
The
I want
next
is the
thing
playoffs.
is let's. I'm quoting Jesse from our private message conversation on this next topic. We're moving on.
Yeah, you're not quoting me.
Quoting you.
Are you
You
quoting
said
me?
you are all in. I won't quote how you are.
Don't quote that.
You are all in. I won't quote directly how you said it. Jesse is all in for Taylor Hall for Hart. All in.
yeah, so I listened back to last episode, and Taylor Hall wasn't one of my three. I was wrong.
Did I picked him, right? Did I pick him?
You did, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't
think
know
so.
where you
It was like
ranked him.
Hall, McDavid, and then somebody else.
No, I don't think you had McDavid. Or maybe you did. Doesn't matter. You had Hall, I did not. And I was wrong. Taylor Hall should probably win the Hart Trophy.
To be fair, you said, well, this will change tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it did. It literally did. The next day, I was like, Taylor Hall. Wasn't one of my three.
No, I looked at like every argument, Adam, you made for McDavid. I was thinking it applies to Taylor Hall.
Sure.
Except his team is good.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Can you go to the league's leading scorers? Because what I didn't understand about the whole McDavid argument is people are talking about him like he's head and shoulders above everybody else, which is,
It's 7 points up on Claude Giroux.
come on. He's 7 points up. That's it. And Taylor Hall's missed a few games, and he's at 93
In
points.
76 games, Taylor Hall is at 93.
So that puts him on probably on pretty close to Giroux Kucherov territory if he's healthy.
Yeah, and the one thing we kept looking at were the team comparisons. We kept looking at, Malkin has Crosby, and McDavid is so far ahead of Draisaitl, but then we looked at it, it wasn't actually that far. And then somebody posted Taylor Hall's numbers and how ahead he is on New Jersey. And if I could pull them up here. New Jersey stats. Someone talk while I pull this up.
Well, what I remember is just, so they made the Henrik for Vatanen trade. And I remember being like, oh, okay, Vatanen's a guy they could use. But boy, up front, who else do they got? And the
So-
answer was Taylor Hall and Taylor Hall.
So it goes Taylor Hall at 93 points. Then Mr. Nico has 51 points.
Nico Hischier.
He's not had a bad season for a guy that wasn't supposed to have a great season.
Well, and you talk about winning the draft lottery, completely changing your fortunes.
Like, he wasn't supposed to be this good, was he? Right away?
And then
Not 51
who
points.
The
No.
hell is Will Butcher?
He was the guy, the Leafs actually he was signed out of the NCAA. He won the Hobie Baker, didn't he?
He was, I want to say, a draft pick of the Avalanche who didn't want to sign there. And the Devils and Avalanche basically swapped NCAA prospects. I don't remember who the guy is in. Oh, Clayton Kerfoot, I think, in Colorado. They both had actually really good seasons, I think.
But coming into this year, if I told you Will Butcher will be the third leading scorer on a playoff team.
Fourth.
No, technically tied for third.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Sorry.
Part of the
That's
reason,
my fault.
apparently, because I
Would
think
you say, Jesse, you're crazy?
was Toronto. Hold on, before I answer that, was Toronto not in on Will Butcher, and he didn't want to come because they couldn't guarantee him a spot, so he went to the Devils?
I don't know.
That
maybe.
was the thing. He wanted to be on an NHL team. That was his thing. So Jesse, to your point, no, there's no way I could have predicted. There's absolutely no way.
I'm sorry. Can I just read the list of players with 30 or more points on the Devils? Taylor Hall, 93. Nico Hischier, 51. Kyle Palmieri and Will Butcher, 44. Jesper Bratt, 35. Miles Wood, 30.
So I look at those
Yeah, Taylor Hall wins the Hart.
I look at those just baseline stats, and you see how far and ahead Taylor Hall is on a team that wasn't supposed to be this good. And he dragged them to the playoffs with his other fast, young, talented guys. And I think he deserves to win the Hart Trophy. He's
Now-
the most valuable player in the sense of the word. That's my argument.
If you really want to get nerdy about it, Manny Elk had a tweet where, hockey's kind of been playing with wins above replacement WAR stats.
Best baseball stat to ever exist.
Connor
It is.
McDavid's is so far ahead of
it
everybody
really?
else's. His is 7.16 wins above replacement. The next guy is William Karlsson, which I'm already looking at the stat like, are you sure? But he's second with 5.59. McDavid was 7.16. He's 5.59, followed by Kucherov, 5.3. Taylor Hall is ninth, actually, at 3.95.
So
This
hockey war is a little skewed.
Yeah, I
'Cause,
don't
like-
understand how it works, so I'm not going to try to explain it.
Yeah, because a regular good player should be above a replacement level player. It doesn't sound like there's many players that are that far and ahead of a replacement level player, because that's the amount of wins you're adding over an average level player. Out of a 0 player, McDavid adds, 7.1 wins to his team.
Yes.
But that doesn't...
But then you're penalizing him for being on a bad team.
Well, and Marchand,
No, because it's not for your team. It's for just a player who was inserted into the lineup. But that doesn't sound like there's enough guys who are above replacement level. That's
so
weird
like
to me.
on the Oilers?
No, just in general.
Because I could have told you that.
Because at 9, you get to 3 wins above replacement when the top players in the league should all be above like 5 replacement wins. Like Crosby is definitely like adding at least a whole bunch of wins to his team. So I don't know, the stat sounds funny to me.
Brock Besser is 12th with 3.57.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
McDavid is more than twice the 12th place guy.
Which doesn't really...
Yeah, I don't really understand it, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
You know who's a guy who is also on this list and should not be nominated for the Hart, but he deserves major props anyway? Eric Stahl. He scored 40 goals, and he's 7th on this list, actually.
What is it, 33 assists, too?
He's had an incredible season. Who told him... Who threw out Eric Stahl's calendar? He has no idea what year it is.
41, 34, yeah.
He's had an absolutely unbelievable
Who threw out
season.
his calendar?
And similarly to Taylor Hall, do the Wild make it without Eric Stahl? I mean, there's not a ton of teams.
they have Parise and Suter. And didn't Suter get injured?
I don't remember.
I think Suter's injured.
I don't remember.
He might miss the playoffs, I think.
I'm fading. We got a live show tomorrow.
Are you telling me to wrap it up?
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow, first you tell me you're not interested in the topic I bring up, which I think is very interesting. And then
Adam, the playoffs started on Wednesday.
Yeah.
How could we consider anything else?
even though that's all we've been talking about leading up to this, but fine. And now you're telling me to wrap it up, man?
I'm just so sick of talking about the Leafs next year.
Can I do something instead of the press
conference?
conference?
Are you John Tavares conversationalist?
Yes.
Are you really tired of it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just over here doing my goddamn
Tavares,
job.
There's a little bit more meat on the bone. It's a little sexier to talk about John Tavares coming to the Leafs instead of like, I don't know, how about we add like this second/third pairing guy?
All right.
Whoa.
I was just following up an old conversation. I left it later in the show.
I apparently, because Adam's done, bring up topics because Steve hates them all, and
Steve's a hater.
And
Let's be in a fight tomorrow.
And Steve doesn't want to talk hockey.
And then we'll get drunk too, and then we'll actually fight. I'll throw a dolly at your bus.
So if you guys will let me, I'd like to end all hockey talk until the next episode.
Great.
Sure. Are we going into the press conference?
I guess so.
Yeah, we got to do that.
He
So
said this
give
is
it
the press conference replacement.
Give it a second.
okay.
The Presser. SDP.
I think that's enough time
The
for the press
Steve
conference.
Dangle Press Conference.
Sounded good.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds great.
So, I have a list of the 100 best minor league baseball player names of this season.
Oh, this would be great.
And
Shoot, just when I thought I was going to go home on time.
I scanned through this list, and it might be the greatest list of names that have ever existed.
Okay, so let's just roll, man.
Baseball's got some names, man. Chuck Knobloch. Come on.
Stubby Clapp, Canadian baseball player.
Billy Koch.
I'm going to start at random number, like 62.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going with that.
Random number 69.
Sex number!
We got J.D. Hammer.
And associates. That should be his team.
He's a lawyer, for sure. He's a personal injury lawyer, for
He plays
sure.
Class A Advanced in Clearwater, Florida. He's a right-handed pitcher for the Phillies.
J.D. Hammer
Organization.
is Saul Goodman's nemesis. J.D. Hammer always stealing my business.
JD Hammer got me the money I deserved. When the insurance company says no, JD drops the hammer.
At 51 on the list, Blinger Perez.
Whoa!
Blinger?
Blinger Perez.
Blinger Perez. His name was Blinger before the word bling was even cool.
It was.
Wow.
That's cool.
He's a first baseman in the Padres system, playing in the Arizona Fall League for the Rookie League Padres.
Yeah, that's too bad because even if he makes the MLB, he's still got to play for the Padres, which that sucks.
But
He gets to live near. If he makes it, though, he gets to live in San Diego, which is sweet.
on top of having a great baseball name, he's also got a built-in hockey nickname if he decides to change career paths. Dude, Blinger.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I saw Blinger was wide open there on the wing, and I just gave it to him.
Yeah. Well, we have another good old hockey name.
Matty Marty.
Number 47, Caden Lemons.
Caden Lemons is a Canadian baseball player. I've never been so sure
Calgary.
of anything in my life. Caden Lemons thinks Brooklyn barbecue is taking over the world.
He's a right-handed pitcher in the Brewers system. Plays in the Arizona Fall League.
Caden Lemmings definitely watches documentaries on Netflix.
Oh, you're Caden Lemons?
Not history documentaries like the meat
okay.
ones. The farming ones where
See,
cows are tortured.
Number 41 on the list is just unfortunate because his parents should have thought of this. The guy's name is Blake Drake.
I think they did.
Why?
I'm firing my parents.
He's telling it like it is. It's Blake Drake.
That's so bad. Number 37. Let's move on.
That was very
This is a right-handed pitcher.
That was very
niche
meta.
to this room.
Yeah.
Plays for Midland in AA athletics system. Oakland would be a nice place to live if it gets called up eventually. Sure. His name is Dustin Hurlbutt.
He's got to be a pitcher.
Yeah, he is a right-handed pitcher.
Amazing.
Hurlbutt on the mound.
Dustin Hurlbutt. What do you do when you're late for the school bus? You hurl butt.
What?
Like hauling ass.
I know.
But it's hurl butt.
I get it. I played a hockey with a Ben Hurlbutt. He was a good goalie. Yeah.
I'm going to run through a couple of these in the 20s quickly.
I'm so tired.
28, Xavier Javier. Which is just your parents should have known.
Honey, it's okay. He's going to play minor league baseball. Trust me.
Tigers right-handed pitcher. GCL Rookie League plays there.
I thought that was a name.
I thought his name was GCL Rookie League. I was like, wow.
Coming in at
They
39.
really knew.
We have GCL Rookie League. Yeah.
I don't know how to do this last name. Number 23, Jefferson Yanuzzi.
No.
Can't be Jefferson?
Nope, he's correct.
How do you know it's a soft J?
Yeah, okay.
It's spelled with a Y.
Yeferson.
That's how I know.
Yanuzzi, which I think is
Yanuzzi
Italian.
is Italian, yeah, 100%.
Which begs the question, Jefferson?
What?
Why did you
What
choose
nationality is that?
Jefferson?
Banff. Specifically Banff.
Like
Jefferson?
Thomas Jefferson? I wonder if there's a connection.
No.
That is... Yeah, okay, what nationality is that? That's the country of getting your wisdom teeth removed before naming your child. That's what
Wow.
nationality
Okay.
that is.
Number
All right.
21, Steele Russell.
That's good.
Steel.
I would like it in reverse, though. I want to be Russell Steele. Because then you can be many things. You can be a baseball guy. You can be a porn star. You can be many things. There's many things you can be with Russell Steele. You can be an injury lawyer, for sure.
It'd be great if he was just, kind of a...
lawyer.
For sure, an injury lawyer.
Just,
Russell, don't get caught in the steel trap. You know what I'm saying? Insurance companies.
I think this guy could be the best injury lawyer of ever.
All right.
Cardinals second baseman, plays for Johnson City in the rookie league. JD Murders.
Imagine.
I want to know what JD stands for now.
Me too.
Imagine
I'd love
he
to
just
know.
he hits a big home run on the front page the next day. Murder in the first degree.
Right? Or was he a first-round pick? Murder in the first round. Hey, what JD stands for like Jefferson Dippers.
Except with the J.
John-
Yeah.
And not like this other
John
Jefferson.
Denver. No.
No, it's spelled with a Y because Baybaugh. It doesn't matter.
All right. All right.
I am going to get in trouble with this next one.
Oh boy.
'Cause
Do you need help? Would you like to phone a friend?
No, Jesse, own it.
Obi, number 18. His first name is Obi. Obie. He's a Rangers third baseman.
Please, it's Obi
Obi?
Trice. Please be Obi Trice.
Plays in the AZL
So
Rangers.
this is
rookie
his
league.
real name.
His
No
first-
gimmicks.
his-
Sorry.
Oh, wow. Steve. Wow. Because you know when two trailer park girls go round me outside.
Adam, why do you gotta just come on?
Sometimes somebody makes a joke.
I'm sorry.
And you let the joke happen.
I'm sorry.
And you don't start talking about who's going to play third line D for the Leafs when the playoffs are next week.
You're right. It was out of place. I mean, you're right. But still.
Anyway,
Just thought it would be interesting.
Obi's last name is Rycumstrict.
How do you spell that?
Ricumstrict.
Yeah, no, he
No.
got it. That's how you say that, I think. Circumstrict.
That's how I'd want it pronounced, not Rycumstrict.
Rickumstrict.
Steve.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I assume
I was
Steve
trying
saw
to read Rickumstrict.
number
The
16.
Rickumstrictor. He
Franklin.
strangles you.
There you go.
Franklin is at number 16. He is Franklin Van Gerp, which is all right.
That's
Franklin Van Gerp.
You said that like how it sounds. Like it sounded like you burped there, and that's sort of how that last name kind of comes
Number
out.
15, Locke St. John.
Locke St. John that should have been the name of the goalie Justin Timberlake played in The Love Guru.
Or maybe a character on Miami Vice.
Locke
Yeah.
St. John locking it down.
Locke St. John, his dad owns a boat.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like a nice yacht.
He's definitely got some Perry Ellis shirts, for sure.
Some all white boat shoes.
Ooh, all white boat shoes.
Yeah.
Damn.
And he wears a polo. My name's
like
Locke
it.
St. John. My hair rustles in the wind.
Got a timeshare.
If he wasn't doing this,
write-off.
if he wasn't doing this, he'd be working in investment banking.
See, now this is also just poor on the parents. Number 13, Rockies outfielder, plays in the DSL Rockies, plays for the DSL Rockies in the Rookie League. His first name is Walking. His name is Walking Cabrera.
Well, he's perfect for baseball.
I was about to
His
say.
on-base percentage must be insane.
They should have called him Grand Slamming.
That Walking Cabrera, always getting on base.
Billy Bean's favorite player.
He's a lot more successful than his brother, strikeout-looking Cabrera.
You should be embarrassed.
I'm not happy about that. That's a bingo one. That's a bingo space.
Number 12, Preston Grand Prix.
Preston Grand Prix is a lesser-known character in The Legend of Ricky Bobby.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a shortstop in the Dodgers system.
His last name is Grand Prix.
There's a
That's
picture
not
of him,
real,
actually.
though, right? Like his somewhere along the line, his family changed their name to that. That's not a real. Oh,
there
it's
he
not
is.
Prix. It's Pre. Grand Prix.
No, Grand Prix is
It's Grand Prix.
It's just better.
Grand Prix. That's French.
No, it's Grand Prix.
Yeah, but okay, where does he play?
Plays in the Dodgers system. AZL Dodgers Rookie League.
He could be like
Arizona League Dodgers. I think that's
what number of Cars movie are we on? Like he could be a new character in Cars. Disney's Cars. Was it Chester or Lester? Lester Grand Prix.
It's Preston.
Preston Grand Prix. And he drives with like they're all talking cars, but like he's got an ascot somehow.
Now this next fella, he's in the Blue Jays minor league system. He's at Lansing. Class A. Advanced.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
No, that's he's in New Hampshire now. He's AA.
My bad.
Look at this
Fisher
guy.
Cats, baby.
Check out the big brain on Wild. Sorry.
You know why I know? Because I always sign up to be a pitcher
Mike
on MLB.
Wilner over here.
When I buy MLB games, I always sign up to be a pitcher, and I make my way up through the Blue Jay system. It's always
yeah.
New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you know where you.
MLB the
That was
show.
my Wilner.
Road to the show. That mode is unbelievable.
It's the best.
I agree with you.
It's
yes.
so great.
It's I like it better than the one for NHL actually.
It's way better than the one for the NHL. There's more to it.
Yeah,
budget
there's just
might
more
be
layers.
Just
A little higher.
Yeah.
Anyways, this young fella, Maverick Buffo, is a right-handed pitcher for the Blue Jays system.
BUFFO.
BUFFO.
Imagine when he makes it to AAA. Buffo on the Buffalo Bisons.
I didn't even think of that. Very good.
Was he a pitcher?
He is a pitcher.
So if he ever shuts anybody out, they're befoiled.
Oh, he's got the buff stuff. Hey, if he's
thought of
really
something.
Yeah.
No, I got it.
Here it is.
I got it.
All right,
Everybody prepare.
If he's really good at playing like second base and like tagging guys out on the base, he'd be Buff Bagwell. Because the wrestler Buff Bagwell. Someone will get it.
I thought that was going to be. I was so disappointed. Are you not?
What the hell just happened?
I don't know, man. I don't.
Should we?
I'm not showing up tomorh.
We should
gonna
buff a
have
go.
beer
We
alone.
Change
should,
the name of the show.
we should buff a go. Is what I'm saying.
All right, we got a couple more. I'm gonna ignore that. Only a few more, like Cannon Chadwick, who could play in the WHL
Yep.
with that name.
Yeah.
Number 7,
5th round pick.
Santo Falcon.
Jesus.
That's a cool name. I like that name.
Santo. Yeah, it's not bad. Number
Santo's a
6,
good name. Santo's a good first name.
Cash Case.
Which I'm expecting to see Carmella cash in at WrestleMania.
Oh my god.
This weekend.
Is a red second baseman in the Arizona Fall League.
Hash case. So literally, he's named after the thing the bad guys carry around.
Yeah, that was Virgil's
Parents thinking.
Virgil's original nickname was Cash Case. And Ted DiBiase shot it down. No, you're Virgil.
Number
Wrestling
5.
again? You don't say.
Number 5 would have had a great name regardless because his last name is Glorious.
No.
He is Austin Glorious.
Wow, you can just put anything behind that.
Yeah, he plays for Salem in the Class A.
I honestly wonder with like Grand Prix or Glorious, like I wonder what names like that. Like at what point did it become that? Like how far when you go on Ancestry, where does that name come from? What part of Europe or what part of Asia or what part of Africa? You know, what part before North America did it come from?
Says here Romanian. I come from a long line of gloriouses. I'm sorry.
Stop it.
Let me go home.
Nope.
we got 2 more.
Okay. I thought we've had 2 more.
3 more.
Oh my
3
God.
more.
You're adding ones.
Number 4, or number 3 actually. I like number 4 better. Number 3 is Jansen Junk. He's a pitcher, so he's throwing that junk.
See, it'd be better if he was Jansen Stuff. Yeah. Because pitchers, they have that stuff.
Sometimes pitchers have junk.
If there's a guy on second base, would there be junk in his trunk?
I mean,
Or would it be if he's on second base, is he the junk in the pitcher's trunk? That's all I'm saying.
I just want to see junk stuff. It'd be better than seeing stuff's junk.
Now, 4.
Can you imagine people just carrying phallic things to a game?
Oh my
Teddy
God.
pitches? Junk. Let me see your junk. Let me see your junk.
He's clearly the junkyard dog.
Let me see your junk.
All I know is a bunch of frat boys got hammered and painted something about Billy Koch in their just a long time ago with the Blue Jays.
Number 4.
Steve, what? Where is this coming from?
I don't know. I'm like,
Getting a reference only you
We're
get.
talking about junk, and you're like, Billy Koch.
Adam.
Billy Koch.
My brain has just enough fuel to get me home. It's like landing a plane right now.
You're going to be listening to Harry Potter in 10 minutes, my friend. I guarantee it.
God.
2 more names.
Let's do it, Jesse.
2 more names. Number 4. His name is Henry. He's a Padres right-handed pitcher. Plays for Fort Wayne.
Parents
Class
are
A.
dicks.
Is it spelled Henry?
R-Y, yeah.
Wow.
Henry. I don't know why.
So can you call him the Henrys?
Henry squared.
Because I would.
Oh, he is the
Henrys. Wouldn't you?
Now,
I would. For sure.
are you guys ready for the
Oh.
final name? There's a little something to this name.
Damn.
We gave you a drum roll, Jesse. Like
There's a little. After I tell you about this Indians first baseman, he plays in Akron. They also have their minor league system right down the road from the arena because it's in Akron and Cleveland Indians play in Cleveland. That's cool. They can make the taxi ride over from Akron.
Jesse, get to the damn name.
This first baseman, Sicknarf Loopstock.
Sorry.
See, now it...
One more time?
Sicknarf Loopstock. See, it's strange, right? But it's not that strange. It's like weird. But spell Sicknarf backwards. Francis. Francis. His parents decided to spell Francis backwards and make it his first name.
Is that what they did?
That's his name.
I want a warrant for their arrest.
So when he holds his driver's license up, his real name is in the mirror. Francis, because you put it up backwards, right?
Oh my God.
That's terrible. Why would they do that? Sicknarf?
Spell Sicknarf backwards.
How did you know that it turned into Francis?
Saw in the comments.
K-O-T.
He's crying. He's crying
It's just
tears.
so ridiculous.
Sicknarf Loopstock.
Where is he from?
Somewhere in the
Sicknarf
Dr.
Loopstock.
Seuss universe.
Why doesn't it say where he's from?
He's from parts unknown, like The Undertaker.
Damn, dude. What a name.
Yeah.
Sicknarf Loopstock. If only my brain had more power in it right now.
Anyways, so his parents spelled Francis backwards and they made it his first name. That's it. We'll see you on Saturday.
Metal loss.
But let's talk about who should play defense for the Leafs next year.
I'm Steve with my double IHF jersey, and I don't care.
And I talk like this. This is my buddy.
I'm going to go drive to Oshawa now. All right, bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.